Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights number 6, and let's bring all of our esteemed guests and co-hosts in. How is everybody doing this evening?
Pretty good.
Fantastic.
Doing well.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. Turkey, stuffing, sweet potato casserole, all the best stuff.
Well, that's fantastic.
Happy Black Friday, everyone.
Or as I like to call it, Happy Consumerist Friday, where we hail the gods of Samsung, Sony, and Walmart and make sure that we pay homage to them in our hard-earned dollars. Yep, that's my joke. That's where I'm at. That's just where I'm at. I'm sharing stuff. Make the funny. Do the thing. I'm sharing stuff. I was ill. I was spending time with the wife, and then I just lost track of time, and I'm sharing stuff.
I did zero
I hear
Black
you.
Friday shopping.
I went out and grabbed a few things, but nothing where I was actually fighting with hordes of people or getting anything unusual.
No good videos then. Uh-oh. The man, the myth, the
There
legend.
we go.
Hi, Mark.
Hello. How's everyone doing today?
How are you, good sir?
Good evening, Mike.
Go, Mike.
I'm doing quite well. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
Welcome to my stream.
It's a raid.
Welcome. I'm
You
trying to
getting
share
raided here?
stuff.
It's a takeover.
Yep.
Yep. At this point, it's the make fun of Royce hour.
Yes.
Let's
well,
go.
It's more like 3 hours, but yeah.
Yes. Can you not remind people this?
I was going to say,
longer intro so you
speaking.
can have time to share it all during the.
Yeah, I was
during
going to
the
say,
intro.
speaking of things going terribly wrong, the comments that I'm seeing already, it looks like Christian Colebrook is on some kind of a mad tear with terrible puns. So
Oh no,
we
that's
might
how he
need to
do.
restrain him or have something. He's gotten into the eggnog. I'm not sure.
That's how he do. Oh, sir, which remind me, let's say hi to the chat, everybody. So
Okay.
down in the chat, we have Isidro Lopez Irwin. How are you doing? He shortened his name because he doesn't want me to say his full name, but I refuse. I will say his full name every time. Kristen Colebrook is down there doing his thing. John A. Douglas, how are you doing? Bounding into comics, sir. Are you double
Good.
dipping on my chat?
No, that's me.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Are you double dipping? Because you're in this. No, I'm just screwing with
Yeah.
Calvin Gulata, time to get out the band hammer. He's gonna have to go. Will 2DC, hail, how are you doing? Monty Herm is down there. Tim Allen, Kabuto Studios is also down
That's
there. And some
Spencer.
people are subscribing to the channel and or doing something else that I have to check on my other computer here, because I have too many things going on. Ron Leonzi, how are you doing? It is fantastic to see you. JVP Music is down there as well. Toxic Crusader. Oh no, Toxic Crusader's here. That guy has broken me on stream multiple times with his toxicity. I love it. It's great. Xavier Guzman, fantastic. Link in the description for Xavier Guzman's designs. Make sure you go and check him out. He actually helped the channel out and did all of the new branding and all of the good that looks really nice to show people for A Drink with Crazy. So if you guys need any graphic design work, go hit up Xavier Guzman down below. No, this is not a sponsorship. He is just a very good friend of the channel, and I want to make sure that I send as many people to him as I can. Tim Allen, how are you doing? Nikolai Powell, it's fantastic to see you. Drake the Duelist is down there as well. Swift Sword Rush, we have a Wrangler as well. Lion Mill Studios, hail to you, good sir. Asher Brunert, how are you doing? And Silent Unseen so far. We have quite a few people down in the chat. Fragile Rock, wow, he just got here. There are some new names to the chat that I am not familiar with, so that's really fantastic. Gentlemen, how was Thanksgiving? I want all the dirty. How was the stories? Any white trash moments? Or is that just
no? I mean, haven't had the opportunity. It's just been my family. We're actually driving tomorrow, so I've got that excitement to look forward to, which is why I might be dipping out just a little bit early. But
no, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, it's not too bad. It's like 10 hours, but I've got 2 small kids, so that's the complicating factor.
I've done it. I have done it. Mr. Daniel P. Riley, how about you, good sir? How was your Thanksgiving?
Nice and relaxing.
Oh, joy for you. And a Blacklist Universe, also known as Mike S. Miller, also known to my channel as Hi Mark. How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was great. We cooked this 23-pound turkey to perfection.
How'd you cook it?
We brined it overnight with, I think it's Williams Sonoma brine. It was a really good brine. Took it out, dried it off, pulled the skin off so that we could stuff some butter under the skin, and then stuck it in the oven.
Have you seen the butter injection? Have you seen how people like will inject it with butter? They'll get like a needle and like inject the butter in. Oh, I need to try that.
It totally unnecessary, dude. This was like the juiciest freaking turkey I've ever made. And I basted it with olive oil and spices and stuff, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to smoke mine tomorrow. I got to be up at like 4:30 in the morning to make sure everything's ready to go, because I'm gonna I got an 8-hour smoke ahead of me tomorrow. So yeah, it's awesome. And we have Mr. John Trent. He is new to the channel, also known as the editor-in-chief to Bounding into Comics. Ladies and gentlemen, I have made it. Mr. John Trent, how are you doing, good sir?
Hey, John.
I'm doing well. It's good to be here. It's good to see you, Mike. Always good to see you. It's great. We had a good Thanksgiving. My dad goes up to. I'm missing out this year because I got a newborn son, so didn't go up. But usually we go up hunting. Up in I got a cousin up in New York, and then we go across the border to Pennsylvania and do some hunting there. They start on Saturday now, but my dad went up and it's white-tailed deer.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah, they changed they just recently changed the season start date. It used to start Monday, but now it starts on Saturday. So they moved it up.
Strange.
Started earlier, but yeah. So had Thanksgiving with my folks and helped my dad load up some wood to take up to my cousin who's got a wood burning stove up there. So had a good time just hanging out with my family.
I miss my wood burning stove. I miss that. Oh, they're so awesome. They're so fantastic.
I miss needing a wood burning stove or any kind of heating at all. It's like 60 something down here in Houston. It got cool for like 3 days, and now it's back to just barely tolerable. So
I'm in San Diego. We just light fires for the ambiance.
We just light fires for political upheaval. It's fine. And Mr. Rob Rhymes, also known as Talking Pulp Press. Good sir, how are you doing? A second appearance on Iron Age Nights.
Not too bad, man.
Good, man. Good.
Very, very sober right now.
Very, very. Yeah, you weren't last time.
Well, I mean, I was when I started.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
So by 3 a.m. my time, it was a little rough. So,
dude, I hurt the next morning. That was.
I hurt for like 2 days, man. That's an entire bottle. I mean, that
I know.
I opened it and it was gone.
I know. And then we got off stream and we do the after stream, and then Richard and Daniel bounced. And then Rob and I sat up for another hour and a half, and then I woke up the next day.
We were the responsible ones.
Yeah, I remember up to Richard and Daniel leaving, and then I know we talked for a while, but man, I don't even know what the hell we talked about. So
might have been some crying involved. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I did. Wake
it was
up
man tears. It was man tears. It was fine. It was fine.
Yeah, I woke up feeling emotional. So.
Oh God, it was fantastic. So, gentlemen, tonight's kind of a free for all. Usually we have some prepared topics, or we'd like to talk about authors and stuff like that and share what's new out there and what people are doing as far as the Iron Age movement is concerned. As is, the title of the show, Iron Age Knights. But we only have one author here tonight. And so right now, anyway, and this is right there. That's that name right there. That's Rob Rhymes. This is Dan the Destructor. This is from Barbarians of the Storm, his pulp novel. You can see the book is perfectly mint because I suck at time management and have not had time to actually crack it open yet. So
He's just so happy you bought it.
yeah, I'm actually really excited to read it.
That's the most important step.
I'm so far behind on my reading right now.
No, that's fine. I don't write anything either.
Yeah,
I was gonna say
like,
we also have Daniel.
Mike's sitting right here. Is like, is that like
I
Uh,
don't
it's the
have
face
your.
on the
Excuse me while I drink my Bud Light.
No. It's right here. It's right here.
I think it's about
I-
the same thing.
Drank all my good beer this week. Paladin Dragoon Rider says, hey, glad to catch another show. Fantastic. For $2. Thank you so much, Paladin Dragoon Rider. I appreciate you being there. And I did get your message, and I will be doing the do as I told you I would do. So thank you so much for that.
I got new
so-
swag.
Oh no, new swag. What kind of new swag?
Yes. Buddy of mine sent me his book.
Ooh,
nice.
I love that artwork.
Hardback.
I love.
It's beautiful.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, that's
I
awesome.
couldn't tell initially. Oh,
That's really cool. Well,
this
fantastic.
this is my favorite thing though, because
Hold it up to the camera, good sir.
I'm doing my best.
That
there we
looks
go.
really
Just
Oh, there we
cool.
go.
Yep. Gotta love the autofocus on cameras, right?
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Yes.
So
It's a short single chapter graphic done by Ian Watson for Brian McCoppin, the author of the book Record of the Paladins.
that's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, we have for a second time on the stream Christopher Moonlight
Yes.
Production. Christopher Cooksey, how are you doing, good sir?
I am well. How are you gentlemen doing tonight?
Good to see you again,
Good to
Chris.
see you.
Fantastic.
Nice to see you too. Happy belated Thanksgiving. I was just finishing up dinner with the family before I hopped on, and I just, well, I don't know what you guys are discussing. I just watched the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Oh no.
What's
How
Wow.
was it? Tell me it was better than the Star Wars holiday special.
Um,
Wait, is it a real thing?
It's a
Yeah.
real thing on Disney Plus. Yeah,
Oh
Oh.
wow.
it's
They
I thought
kidnapped
that was
Kevin
like
Bacon.
I don't know.
yeah. They kidnapped Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon saves Christmas.
Nice.
And it was fun. It wasn't, when you think of James Gunn outrageousness, you actually hope they don't play it quite as safe. But some cop cars were flipped over. Drax and Mantis went drinking on the Hollywood Boulevard, and so I mean it was fun, but it wasn't like, oh my god, this is a new classic. But
Yeah.
it kind of, you look at it though and you go, okay, yeah, this is like the last time we're probably going to see Guardians of the Galaxy how we want. And, from here on out, I'm not going to bother.
Well, what if they hired Tim Miller to direct?
No, that guy did the
could
Terminator
replace-
movie, didn't he?
I'm trying to remember.
Didn't he
Yeah.
just do the new Terminator movie and was accusing us of being misogynists.
See,
Who cares?
most of them accuse us.
I mean, he's
James
right.
Gunn was accused of worse. So-
I mean, yeah.
If Daniel writes it, I'll watch it.
There we go.
I have
I like
literally
this plan.
I've literally just gone away from the Marvel and DC stuff, and I'm just like, you know what? I am just full on into the new creators, the indie guys, and I was never that guy before. And I'm just like, you know what? Let's look at these new creators, these new writers, because I've seen what Marvel and DC has had to offer, because they've been offering it for, in some cases almost 100 years. So hey, maybe we look at some other guys, and I've just been full on into that lately.
Well, you know what it
So-
is? It's what Marvel and DC used to be was a house that hosted very talented artists and writers that gave us beautiful works. I mean, I've been going through lately this, even though this isn't DC technically, but I have this beautiful volume of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, oversized.
Ooh, give me
that
one
I've been
second,
in-
good sir. Hold that back up. Yes.
And it's
I
it's
liked
got-
the movie. I know I'm probably a heretic for that, but I liked the movie. I do.
I love the movie.
It's
the movie
fun.
was-
It's just fun.
I remember
haven't
hating
thought
it,
about
but
that
I
in
haven't seen it since the
eons.
theater.
I
Yeah, I was gonna
actually
say.
have been in the presence of the director of that movie, and his name is eluding me at the moment. But he also directed Blade. And before
Oh.
that, it's on the tip of my tongue. He worked for Stan Winston doing special effects, practical effects work. He created the chest burster in Aliens.
Mhm.
Oh, that's cool.
And it'll come to me at some point.
Stephen Norrington.
Steve Norrington, that's it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's oh crap. Hold on, I'll be right back. I just spilled my wine.
Boy, we're off to a good Friday. Hey,
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say,
this is a perfect
That'll
time
of course.
for a super chat.
17
The Lord
minutes in.
Otter says, "Howdy, gents! Glad to be dropping in another stream. Wishing you all the best, and here's hoping for a wonderful holiday weekend." Thank you so much, the Lord Otter. Also, StreamYards doesn't like to show it, but Wrangler is down in the chat right now. He just gifted 10 A Drink with Crazy memberships, which also allowed Billy Bobsack into my memberships.
Oh, never mind.
Wrangler,
Boo.
we're gonna have to have words.
To say
We're gonna have to have words.
the Lord Otter actually is going to be having a review on, I think Monday is when their review of Rob's third book is going up. They already put it on their Substack, but I had one of my shorter excerpts on the site for Monday. So
Oh, there you go.
everybody
Fantastic.
keep an eye out for that.
Nice.
Oh, there
The
you go.
third book's my favorite book. So
So, sir, you're smoking a cigar, and I can't smoke a cigar right now. And I hate you. Anyway, so what is on everybody's minds for topics tonight? Because I'm gonna be honest, jokers are wild tonight. So let's just do it. What's on everybody's mind? What are you thinking? Go?
Well, I had a few questions for John, maybe about bounding into comics. You know, like if you want to talk shop at all, I'm
Sure.
curious to hear a little bit about it.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fine.
How to get started, and
So I
how
was-
has it changed over time? So
Yeah, I was working a job and I was looking for work at the job and they weren't giving me any work. And I started a website. I was going to review comics and that's kind of how it started. And then I expanded it to where I started doing more news and actually reached out to all the comic book publishers and got on their email lists and was just kind of doing stuff like that and was kind of noticing all like the insane woke garbage that started happening. It wasn't even like the woke stuff in the beginning. It was more of like they were trying to cancel people for like variant covers. You remember that, Mike? The Batman or the Batgirl variant cover, and then you had the Spider Woman variant cover and stuff like that. That was kind of the first kind of
the Wonder Woman one with Frank.
Yeah, with Frank Cho. Like so that was kind of like the first dipping our toe in that stuff. And I mean, from there, like 2018, I switched jobs obviously, and then my company that I was working for just asked if they wanted to buy the site, and I said yes. They sold it to them, put me in charge of it in 2018, and been going on full bore ever since. Where I actually had like full time to dedicate to it, and haven't stopped, and keep going up and up. So, yeah,
that's
kinda
awesome. So how many
in a nutshell?
Yeah. Well, how many people are associated with the site in terms of like regular writers and so on and so forth?
We probably have like
Or is it like a
10.
lot of guests or?
No, it's mainly regular people. The only person who like kind of maybe guest posts regularly is a person named AC Graves. And they only do that like maybe once a quarter. But yeah, for the most part, we have 10 regular guys. We've got Spencer, who's my editor. We've got Josh, who also edits and does some of the marketing for us. We've got Jacob, who's on our Black Pill stream as well as a co-host. He writes. He also runs Society Reviews. Had been following him for a while and was able to get him on board. So that was really awesome. And then we've got Nerdigans, who kind of covers our manga and anime line. She's got her own YouTube channel as well. And then we've got Tyler. I'm not sure how to say his last name. Valle or Valle. I don't know. I haven't asked him how to say his last name. So he helps with. He helps Ryan Pearson cover some of our video game stuff. He just joined us last month, I think, maybe this month. And then we've got a guy named Chris Swain who does movie reviews. Allie Hanley does movie reviews sporadically. She hasn't done one in a while. I think I've got everyone there. We got a guy named Slade Hale. He does some of our listicles and opinion pieces, and then he also reviews a lot of our show. He reviews like the TV shows, like the game House of the Dragon and Andor and some of the stuff like that. He reviewed Halo. Oh yeah, John. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, forgot about John. And John writes for us too. Yeah. He does our comic book stuff. So, and then we have another Ryan Williams as well. He does our horror stuff. I probably should just pull up the list that has them all on here, but
I probably could have done that too, to be fair.
You get Tim Pool referring to your articles pretty regularly too.
Yeah, one of my buddies who lives down in Florida always is like screen capping screenshots of when he's like pulling up an article that it's on our site or I wrote or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, you're famous now," and I was like, "Okay, thanks."
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was watching Friday Night Tights instead of Adam's show. Royce, what was going on there?
Oh, dude. Oh, I actually want to talk about that. But before I do, Kikomon for $5 says, "Show me, show you." Late Kikomon, sir.
Late,
sir. Well, I guess it's, better late than never. No, I was just really no, Adam decided to give supposedly and I you take the man for what he's saying, and I mean, unless this goes into a further like court of law or something, he decided to give the skinny on why he left Timcast. And
he said he was
there
fired.
are quite the amount of salacious things that he is saying that, and again, I don't know Adam, so I take him at his word that watching what I watched, everything that he said was true, or to the best of his recollection, true, right? And boy, howdy, that man does not like Lydia.
Yeah, I got that.
Man,
like
that's
last
going to
week
start a
George
firestorm. I might actually do when the Twitter stuff starts happening from this, because it most likely will. And when all of this blows up, I'm probably going to do a video on it, because I've followed Adam since he was on Timcast, and then I couldn't find him for a while, and I was like, "Where'd he go?" And then, oh crap, he's over here, cool. And then he started getting with the Friday Night Tights crowd. But yeah, no, that was insane. I did not have a lot of time to, when I listen to Friday Night Tights, I like to actually sit down and like devote my attention to those guys, which is probably bad for my mental health. But when I'm sitting here, just, today was crazy. I had no time. I was cleaning the house all day. We have relatives and friends and all that, because we're doing our Thanksgiving tomorrow. And then I had vehicles that I was attempting to work on, and just yeah, and then the sun went down, and then I was like, I'm not doing an oil change in the dark. So it was a fun day. But the Adamcast, no, he was talking about how there was a lot there. There was a lot there in what he was, and I don't even know if I necessarily want to paraphrase it, but he was talking about how Lydia may not be the virtuous person in real life that she claims to be online.
Yeah.
But he goes really heavy into it, like where supposedly she jumped into Tim's bed when Tim's girlfriend was out of town, and she was trying to. So there were insinuations there that there could have potentially been something while she was with somebody, with her and Ian Crossland. And she was sleeping around on the person that she was with. Like, there's a lot there. There's that stream is. That stream is going to live in infamy. It's absolutely insane.
He's still live.
Yeah,
He
He was
is,
live
yeah.
when I
Might be a
was,
little drunk.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was going for a while there.
Yeah, it's that is absolutely crazy. So
You know, the craziest thing to me is that he wasn't under an NDA. At least that's what I think
He said
he said. Which
yeah, he had the paper and he refused to sign it. Is what he said. He had like the screenshots.
oh,
of
see,
it.
I didn't really watch that. I just have heard in the
I
past.
think he
that,
posted
no, I
on
don't have an
Twitter.
NDA. I'm just not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
And
that's
you know,
absolutely not.
I mean, I kind of don't blame him for wanting to talk about it because obviously there's some bad blood, but at the same time, I'm like, you know, it's been a while now. You know,
He only
What,
has
like a year and a half?
from it. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think for him, so like I didn't watch any of the stream today, but I saw some of the stream that he had with George. I think it was like last week, 2 weeks ago, George the Giant Slayer, and I
Such a great
clearly,
guy.
yeah, I love George. Clearly, he had it was bothering him. Like you could tell that like the stuff that with Tim was bothering him, and he really wanted to like get it off his chest. And I don't know if like going on a stream and doing that is the best way to deal with that. But yeah, it definitely was bothering him. I don't know if like the way he's trying to handle it is the best way to do it. I think he probably needs someone who's probably a little bit closer to him to give him some better advice. That's just my opinion.
And I'm
stuff
gonna
like that.
say this, and I'm gonna be just a complete internet a-hole right now. I hope he makes some money off of it at the very least. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
it's probably not the best way to go about it, but you know what? It's definitely something that will put some notoriety on his channel. I mean, he already has some notoriety, and I don't think that I don't view Adam as the type of person that would be clout chasing for something like this. Because this is something that
that's not what I was
with the
saying.
things that he is saying on his show tonight, this is something that could sink or that could sink him. And I don't think that he's the type of person going for that. But
But
well, I don't know if it'll sink him. I don't know if it's going to sink him or help him, but it's definitely going to get the clicks in the off.
So my guess is
Well-
it'll probably help him in the long term because I don't know. You see this happen. I mean, I see it with just John De La Rose, kind of even on the small end when he was his channel kind of blew up when he started criticizing the quartering. So when you actually have people starting criticizing the bigger people, there's obviously people that are part of that bigger guy's audience that might also be critical too, and they're kind of looking for someone to express those frustrations. So I can definitely see it'd probably be more of a boon than a negative. But that's just for the channel. But as far as like personally, I don't know if it's a boon at all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kikomon for $2 says, what streamer are you talking about with Tim Pool? So he was actually the original co-host of Timcast with Tim Pool, and he was all of a sudden just not on the show one day. And I remember when that happened, and it was really hush hush as to when it happened, Kikomon. And it was and now he's kind of giving his version of the story, his side of the story as to what happened, why he started feeling uncomfortable with everything, and ultimately what led to him being fired on the show. And so just some weird goings on with that whole situation. So yeah, but Kikomon for $2.
I mean, I would kind of get sick of it if I was hanging around Tim Pool all the time. I mean, I don't know what he's like as a person, but I watch Tim Pool stuff for news, but sometimes I have to take sabbaticals because it's like he went from being, excuse me, I'm not going to cry. He went from being like, straight just.
You already spilled the
Yeah.
wine.
What's that?
I know.
Sorry.
Well, I would say, you shouldn't cry over spilt milk, but spilt wine, you might be able to shed a tear about.
I know. It's horrible.
It's horrible.
But
if I spill beer, you're gonna see it. It's a bad day.
you're gonna see the tears flow. Yes. Well,
Oh.
anyway, I mean, so Tim Pool kind of went from being this down to earth, guy with a beanie, skater guy with a beanie, to he gets very hyperbolic and sensational, almost like he's spent a little bit too much time with Alex Jones, where he starts going like, "Ladies and gentlemen, society is crumbling, Civil War, World War III," and just like, shut up, man. Like,
He's not wrong about society crumbling.
I think
that's
he's
cool.
right to a
That's
certain
true.
extent. I absolutely think he's right to a certain extent. And I think I think that he is seeing the trend lines that we have seen in the past for sure. And he's also noted on his show that he's talked with some people who are, who've been overseas and who have been a part of, countries that have fallen apart, this, that, and the other thing. And he's talked with them about, here are some of the things, like when a country starts to fall apart, here are some of the points. And he's mentioned that maybe his information's good, maybe it's not good. Maybe he's making it up. I don't know. I cannot confirm that one way or the other. But the fact of the matter is, I mean, the guy definitely seems different, because I first came across him when he was on the Joe Rogan show with
Twitter Jack and Vijaya.
Yeah, Vijaya Gada, yeah.
Oh, I've been
And
watching him
he
way
is
before
totally
that.
different now. He is very different now. He's a lot less the laid back skater journalist, and a lot more the I'm going to build my business and crush everybody else in front of me guy. And you get that sense off of him now. Like he is just he seems totally different. I think that his motivations are good, though. I think he's still trying to go after the culture war stuff. What do you guys think?
Well, I mean, I think that I don't know how to say it exactly, but like just because somebody's really good in one skill set or one aspect doesn't mean that skill is going to translate to a lot of other areas,
No, that's true.
And you've heard different people talking about this, and I think that when Tim was still doing kind of like the bite-sized news segments where he'd basically like read an article and then take a few rebuttals to what that was about maybe and add some context to it, that was a very different kind of thing than the content that he produces now. And this is, I think, kind of a side effect of what I worry about to a certain degree with Adam, because I've seen it happen to other people as well. And it's not always something that results in people making a lot of money in the long term, like Tim has, but you can let your audience like guide you into a path that you would not normally take. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I have
so
been
I
called
think-
the number one Iron Age daddy, so I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, so
Well, I think
whenever
that's-
you start,
it's like somebody who doesn't really know who they are as a person starts to kowtow to the audience. It's like, and just putting that the audience knows best. The audience is there for you, not for you to be their twisted mirror so you reflect everything they say. You know what I mean? I think Adam's true to himself, and damn, he's got 7,500 people watching. He's usually only got like 400 to 600, something like that. This is a pretty
Yeah,
Adam
his-
Krigler right now.
Yeah, I mean the headline is pretty good. His headline is pretty
I mean,
good.
it's a good headline.
I'm spilling all the beans. Like the
Oh no, that's why I
Break up with
watched it.
Tim Pool.
That's why I did it. I had a minute to sit down, and it was gonna be, well, maybe I'll watch Friday Night Tights, and I saw that, and I was like, well, not watching Friday Night Tights now. Darkish Multiverse, previously known as Rippaverse News Reviews and Theories, he says for $3, take my money, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what you were talking about, right, Mike?
Now, Mike, you make a good point, and I think they were talking about that on Rogan not too long ago. I forget with who, but essentially saying that when you start to get a reaction and you start to maybe make some money from it or just get that dopamine hit, if you're not paying attention, your instinct is, well, I'll do more of that.
Yeah, feed the beast.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right?
Exactly.
Feed the beast that's feeding your super chats.
it's really, well, I mean, shush, Kikomon's here. Shh. No,
Come on,
and
we'll, we'll send you super chats no matter what idiocy you say.
possibly, but no, but it's really hard. It's really hard because there have been videos that, and I again, the channel is incredibly small compared to some of these Goliaths that we're talking about. But it's one of those things, like when I'll do a video talking about something specific and I go, but I don't want to dedicate my channel to this because it's just not me. Like because I like talking about stuff once in a while that I'm like, hey, I'm really passionate about this for probably the next hour. Let's do a video, right? And then after that, I do the video, I vent about it. It's cool. Let's go. Let's move on, right? But then you see the views climb and you go, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not just gonna I'm not just gonna fall into that and just make my channel just that thing. And it's really
that's
hard
how you.
not
That
to
is
want to
that
do
is how you grow your. If you're trying to chase the algorithm rather than grow an organic audience, that's what you do.
And you're not.
That is why I won't do 2 shows a week or a night. I won't.
You need to here's some advice. You need to do more videos criticizing Hugh Jackman's age.
I wasn't criticizing his age necessarily, and I cannot believe that you made an article about that. Wait, okay, so hold on. Side note here. Let's talk about me for a second.
Wait, you do
talk
go
about
after older people a lot. Tim Allen.
He is. He's a very ageist young man.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is terrible. I had no idea.
The sweet, sweet splendor of youth. Anyway,
Ignorance
what
is bliss.
on God's green, beautiful earth made you want to do an article about a no-name YouTube channel on bounding into comics?
Well, I think you were on John De La Rosa's stream one time, and I looked at
that's
some
a
of your
bad thing.
videos, and I was watching that, and I checked it out and watched that video, and thought you made a good point, and I agree with that point. So it's like, why not do an article on it? So, I mean, that's something that I do a lot on Bounding into Comics, where we try and highlight YouTubers that might not be like huge, but we also obviously highlight people like Doomcock and Gary as well.
Mhm.
But especially when they have like scoopers and stuff like that. But I mean, we always try and highlight people that are in our kind of sphere or whatever you want to call it, and the Iron Age, whatever. So yeah, that's what we do.
Well, I mean,
That's what I do a lot. I know I do that a lot. I try and work on the other guys to do that. Still working.
Yeah,
on
there
that.
you go. I was literally getting out of work, and then I saw that, and I was like, I called my wife, and I'm like, babe, Bounding into Comics did an article on me, and my wife goes, okay, there's a lot of names. Remind me who Bounding into Comics is again. I'm like, no, babe, you don't understand. And she's like, no, baby, it's fine. Like, but there's a lot of names, and because she deals with children all day, and then like other
Right.
things that are much more important than me talking.
Yeah, I miss
about-
dealing with kids all day. That's why I come on here.
Oh, God.
it is
Especially
cool. I mean,
last week
Right,
when you
he's a
came on. My good lord,
special
that was the
guest.
stream to end
Brother.
all streams.
Isn't that why we're all here though? Is we're all looking to find those little nuggets of, those sound bites or bits of information that help us to kind of figure out what's going wrong and course correct. And then, when somebody we admire because we were listening to them, notes it, it's really cool for us. I mean, I couldn't wait to hop on and message Iron Age Media when Razor Fist put his website in one of his videos. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And it's like
was
Razor
epic.
Fist is, he's got a huge audience, and he's obviously had a lot of influence on us and given us things to think about that we then take and run with. So, yeah. Now, a quick question for Mike. I just can't help but wonder: do you have a black and white zigzag floor beneath you, below that curtain? Is David Lynch with you? They're a little dancing midget. behind
Well,
you.
that yes, I do have the dancing midget, but no, David's not here.
Sorry,
man.
I kept looking over, and I like it. It's cool, but
thank you.
I kept thinking to myself, somebody's going to come from behind that curtain and go, I am in your arm.
Here, I'll fix it for you.
That's fantastic.
Oh, I'm so disappointed. I thought that was real. I was going to go curtain shopping.
Oh god. No, it's a green screen. I was super disappointed when I found out as well. Kikomon for $5. The only person who I still trust is Crowder, Eliza Schaefer, and recently Matt Walsh. The rest of them are red flags. Tim Pool has good guests. I don't listen to any of those guys. I don't like their takes. I do agree that Tim Pool has good guests. I
Matt Walsh
watched
is
Crowder for
anti-Pitbull.
about-
That's a instant no-go.
I watched
Dancing
Crowder
Ninja.
for about 2 months years ago, and I can't square how Crowder wants to do this salacious show where he talks about the things that he talks about, says the jokes that he talks about, and then at the end of the show tries to say, but to be a good Christian, this is how you do it. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, dude. I just heard some of the things that you like left your mouth a little while ago. And like part of being a
Go
good
on,
Christian
Royce.
is controlling your language. I'm working on it, Mike. I'm not perfect. But this is actually
Please
why
do.
I'm working on it. And you have seen me work on it. You've
You
seen
didn't work
me.
on it at all that last stream I saw you on.
No, that was really bad. That was
Yeah.
there was
Royce, I gotta
yeah.
say though, you know what? Since the last time I was on your show, you did give me something to think about in terms of making sure that my own content, and I'm not just talking about live streams, but making sure that I have stuff that when the movies I make, I can show my kids, or at least as a version where I can point to people, because the Quantum Terror is not family friendly, and it's so weird. Sometimes I worry about adults watching it, but
although it's not and I believe now I didn't get all the way through it because a time was really crunched that day and life was happening, but there wasn't any nudity in it. I don't recall any over salacious language. There was definitely disturbing imagery, but my
did you get
children
to the shower scene?
Oh, I didn't see the shower scene.
I was
Yeah.
watching much worse than that when I was like 5. I'm just saying.
My
Kid of the
children
80s.
have already seen
My parents are like,
the
just rent
original
some
Child's
videos.
Play. They've seen like my kids are creepy kids, man. My kids are like, yeah, let's watch all the scary stuff. I'm like, you know what? You're your mother's children today.
As long as I keep them away from the sex stuff, but if it's gore, I mean, because they've been around practical effects. My daughter's favorite horror movie is she's 16 now, but I think she saw it when she was 12 or 13. Is the Evil Dead reboot? Tons of swearing and carnage. She absolutely loved it.
You mean Evil Dead 2?
No, the remake, the 2013
Oh, the TV
one.
show? Oh, the TV show.
No. There was a remake.
Oh, really?
It was
Oh.
excellent.
Was
And
that
I'm against remakes, but not totally, but it was excellent. Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I've seen that one because I
Evil
know I've
Dead
seen
2
the
is a
show.
perfect film. I don't know why anybody would ever read that.
This is okay. So they did Evil Dead, then they did Evil Dead 2, Army of
Which
Darkness.
was a remake of
beautiful.
Evil Dead.
Yeah. And this one I think it came out in 2013, and it's produced by Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi. And it is really good. It is essentially the same premise, but what if we take it deadly seriously?
Oh, really?
And they do it. It's excellent. It is excellent. And this is someone who is.
Uh-oh.
Pause. Someone who's
There is a
Austin.
baby in the background.
Oh, that's mine.
You know what else
I'm
is?
good.
A
Oh, that
perfect
is
film?
adorable, dude. I
was
it
wondering
is-
where the baby sounds were
Oh,
coming from.
I
That's
love-
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Zach,
that's me. That's my 5-month-old.
Mhm. Oh, fantastic, dude! I love it. Nope. And next time you're on the stream, the baby also needs to be in the background.
I don't
So
know
I need
about
to make
that.
sure that my wife doesn't watch it because
She'll
baby
get
fever.
pregnant again.
No. Dude, we go back and forth on that. But before we go into that conversation, JVP Music for $10 says, dude, a great lineup. We need to get crazy to 10K subs. I appreciate it. And if the channel grows to that point, I would be just completely grateful to that. That would
You'll get there. You'll get
yeah, I
there.
was gonna say you're 1.6. I mean,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, you're young.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I
yeah,
am young.
you
Oh,
got
thank
plenty
you,
of
Mark.
time.
I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you for noticing that.
You're
You
young.
upload more videos than we
You
do.
have plenty of time to get there. By the
All
time
right,
you're my age, you'll have 10.
Oh, by the time I'm your age, I should be dead.
Hey, wait a minute.
that's so mean.
Wrangler for $20 says during 2020, Tim Pool used to say, make something, create something, build culture. On almost every segment, there were nights that those words echoed in my head, and that sometimes was what kept me writing. No, and I don't think Tim Pool's a bad guy at all. I think he's right in his messaging, and I can't really comment on the guy. I've noticed a change in him, in his speech patterns and the way that he talks about things. I can't say one way. I don't know Tim Pool. I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy or what his true motivations are. But I do know what he says a lot on his streams, and that resonates with a lot of people, and he could be motivating a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I don't really watch Tim Pool, but like the vibe that I get from like almost all of these kind of commentators and pundits and stuff like that kind of gets what Mike was saying, is that none of them are actual like Christians. Like and I feel like that's what we're really missing.
I'm just watching this
from the punditry class.
muted on the other screen, and Adam just looks so drunk.
Dude, that is way different than the beginning of his stream. Way different.
Like, did he change clothes?
No.
Or
He
just
just
his
his whole
mannerisms?
demeanor. His whole demeanor is entirely different. Like,
Yeah, we got
he
lots
was
of
very
hand gestures
still.
now.
But he was very still. He wasn't
Playing
doing the
that
raised
airplane.
fingers like.
Dude, for a while, every time I'd put it back on his screen, he was drinking. I'm like, they must be paying
Oh,
him to
no.
take shots in the chat or something.
Oh man,
I don't know.
I would you'd
Oh,
be hard pressed
no!
to get me to take
No!
more than a couple shots.
Well, Chris,
Oh.
you and Rob are gonna work on being the drunkest people I've ever had on this stream.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not
I was
going
gonna
there
say
tonight.
I actually saw I saw a question from
Rob's
Jake,
like, I'm gonna
365
win.
and he was talking about
Where's the question? How far down is it? Sorry, I'm
it
still
was
back.
it was a ways back. I remember it, but it was basically
I'll take
does-
your word
does
for it.
Tim Pool have pundit brain, which is the thing that we were talking about, and it's a term that he coined. But essentially, it's where you are like very into the right left politics. It's about moving the political football. Everything is seen in that light, And I think that I think it was Wrangler, the $20 super chat, who said something to the effect of that, there for a while, Tim was like really hammering on building culture and doing this, that, and the other. And I feel like he's still kind of like topically, like sort of concerned with those things. But I do think that he's kind of gone from like he had that roller coaster of like, politics is the solution to everything. And then it was like, oh no, politics isn't the solution to anything. And now that he's, actually, making some connections and getting to know people and yada, 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 and getting bigger, that now I think in the back of his mind, he is starting to once again be like, maybe politics is the solution to everything. You know what I mean? Which
Well,
I think
maybe
is
he
a
went from-
common.
He went from being someone who's, and I don't really know, but I can see this happening to people where they do YouTube as a hobby, or they do it as something just to sort of express themselves, and then at some point, like when that starts taking over your life, that starts paying your bills, that starts making you rich, then you kind of shift over to the other track where you're like, whatever it takes to build my YouTube,
Mhm.
rather than whatever it takes to change the culture.
Yeah.
Well,
and I think Razorfist tweeted this. It was a clip, I think, of Orson Welles talking about like the true creative has to like lack that last 10% of ambition, essentially.
Mhm.
And I think that I'm probably missing the exact context of that, but
Well, essentially, he was saying that that last 10% of ambition is the fame of being who you are, rather than that focusing on what it is that originally
Got you
made
there.
you passionate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, exactly.
and I agree with that. I think I originally started doing YouTube and live streaming because I wanted to talk to people that cared about the same things that I did. And before live streaming became a big deal, I was interviewing people, and it was a great way to meet people that I admired in the industry or whatever. And it's still a way for me to connect to an audience. But ultimately, the goal is still to create my movies, and that's how I want to connect with people. And as soon as that really takes off, then I'm out of here. No, honestly, I mean, it's great to be able to connect with the audience.
And I would, and if I may interject, I would love that, and for two reasons. One, because assuming that you do it to a point where you just don't have the time anymore, congratulations. And two, I would be like, guys, he was on my show, and look at where he's at now. And while he was doing the grind,
You're the star maker,
time
right?
out of his day to come over here.
Well, I will say this. I will always want to connect with the audience as long as it's in a sincere capacity. And I think it's important to realize that, somebody said to me once, I think it was Bill Morrison, who used to work for Matt Groening doing Bongo Comics. And I asked him, would you like to, because he was doing his own comic called Roswell Little Green Man. And I said, do you wish you were more famous as an artist? And he's like, no, I'd rather the work, it'd make me happy if the work was famous. It's like, I guess I wouldn't mind being famous among my peers. But at the same time, he was, it really made me think, I don't need to be famous. I don't need to be recognized on the street. I don't need to be, stopped and told how great I am or anything like that. I mean, I may joke about that, but honestly, I still want my private life, but I do want what I create to resonate with people and be maybe a little bit of part of their culture and maybe something that they find. I think I said this last time, Alan Moore said, give people what they need, not what they want. And I amended that to just try and give people something that might be useful to them. Let them decide what that is. But
Nope.
He's paused again. That's that's kind of a point.
That's what we like to
I
call
mean,
the
I mean, I
director's
know-
pause. He's thinking about how to make sure that this show does not go off track. That's what he's doing
What's
right
the
there.
poison?
And because none of you guys would share your links with me, I'm finding them. Thank you.
I
That's
should.
fine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what
sorry.
you meant. I now realize what you were meaning because you started sharing them in the.
There
I
you
should
go.
plug
There
my
you go.
subscribe
It's
stuff.
fine. It's
You should
fine.
already have
But
mine,
you're asking-
there it is.
But you're asking for like Kickstarters or whatever.
No,
Yeah, no, it's funny.
I'm
kind
asking
of
for
to
where people
his
can find me.
Kind of to his point, like a lot of the guys in Comicsgate and other places, they're always going on and on about giving the fans what they want and like listening to the fans and all of this stuff. And it's like there's a place for that, but boy, if you don't know what your own story is that you want to tell, then what do you do? You're just catering at that point. And then catering, no, there's no such thing as well done catering. I mean, unless you're at a wedding, you know what I mean? It's like a story's got to have.
I wrote my books for myself, and then it just
Right.
so happened that people liked them, which was
Too
just
many
I was so
cooks
burned out
spoil
on
the
all the
soup, man.
IPs I love turning
go.
into pieces of shit. And I said, I'm going to make what I want in a story.
Well, the audience
and
is
plus
looking
Luckily, it
for
resonates.
the artist.
It's not like you're in a freaking, you're not gonna you're not gonna be the chef in the kitchen and just invite everybody in the restaurant to come tell you what to put in the salad.
I've been there.
Doesn't work that way.
Not with everybody in the restaurant, though.
Yeah.
No.
They want to
You
make a
can't please
connection
everyone,
with you.
so just make sure you do what is in your heart and your mind and your spirit as to what is the best story that you can tell, and then the audience that likes it will be the audience that comes back for the next one.
Right.
Well, they want sincerity.
So
They-
I just to counter that, the criticism when they're saying I think there's two parts to that kind of criticism. When they're saying like they're rejecting the audience is the fact that you have like something like Star Wars or Marvel where you had good stuff. They were making good stuff. Iron Man, obviously the original trilogy. And now they're clearly not making anything on that par from a narrative perspective. And it's clearly also ham-fisted with political agenda. So I think that's what, when people are saying like, I want that, that's what they're really saying. They're saying, like, I don't want to hear
I
that
know what you're
political
saying, and
agenda stuff. Yeah.
I agree with that. But I
Yeah,
was
but the
talking about
opposite
more of
is in-
what you're creating, right?
Yeah.
When you're talking about something like
Right,
Spider-Man
yeah.
or Batman or whatever, you're catering to a legacy. So yeah, it's like, dude, hire fans. Fans have the best ideas for that sort of stuff. But it's like, when you're talking about doing your own stuff, it's
Yeah,
like you
now
don't
that's
take
a red
poll
flag, though.
about what you want to do for your stories.
Well, the
Right. Yeah. I
reason
mean,
people reject-
Tolkien has tons of stuff on that too.
Yeah, the reason
as
that people
well.
reject things like Star Wars and Star Trek today is because they started they were originally attracted to it because it had an underlying foundation of values behind it that always informed what the stories were going to be. And when you forget about that, when you try and get rid of that and sneak your own values in or lack of, then they're going to see it as the fraud that it is. So that's what's going on there.
But even then, the opposite of what these people have done to established IPs isn't necessarily success. It just going in the opposite direction of what they've put out isn't going to make a good product. It's just making a slightly different version with a different message, and that message can be just as bad.
They're going for they really are on our holiest of holidays, Consumer Day. They really are going. That's welcome to Consumer Day. Make sure to honor and worship the gods of Samsung, Sony, Walmart, and Amazon with your hard-earned greenback dollars or whatever.
Amazon's on Monday, right?
Yeah.
Oh crap, that's right. Amazon's on Monday. My bad. I'm sorry. Amazon gods, I do apologize. Please do not smite me.
All praise
all
the
hail the Amazon
dollar.
gods. Anyway,
It's okay.
but
We're
on
on
consumerist holiday here, they really are just trying to do this thing, and they believe it to be true, where they can just make something and then tell people, "Oh, just consume product, then consume next product." It really feels like that. And the sad fact is it works.
Half in the
And
bag.
I think that a lot of people on our end of the spectrum, this is something that I've been looking at because I see all of these movies coming out. I see the Marvel movies. And although there is a slow decline here, but they are still making hundreds of millions of dollars. And people are like, well, but they're not making money. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's because they're morons and they spent too much on it. That doesn't negate the fact that they are still bringing in that much money, which means there are that many people willing to part with the dollars in their pocketbooks in what's supposedly a recession right now and headed towards depression. And the fact of the matter is the consume next product mentality, which is the greed and the gluttony of people who just happen to exist in today's day and age and always have, is really on display for many people to see. It's there. It's ever present in our society. And I don't think that it's going to go away anytime soon. And that's what they're doing. It's just consume next product. Here's more food. Here's more food. Here, eat. And it's just, and especially when it comes to mental conditioning, that's exactly what they're doing. And the fact of the matter is,
Yeah, but you
they've had
can't
the last
grow
30...
a market with that mentality. You
Yeah.
can.
Are you sure? Are you
once
sure?
you've reached a certain, yeah,
It's
I'm
declining right now. Avengers Endgame.
it will decline. It will
declined.
decline slowly because there are people who aren't willing to bail out of that restaurant, that Bud Light, that movie series, that comic book. Right? They're like, I'm a completionist. I have to have every issue of Spider-Man, and then it's like it gets worse and worse and worse, and eventually people tap out, and they tap out, and it's a slow decline. But eventually,
they are still the type of people who just want to consume next product.
right.
So they may
but
bow out of that
will-
one, but they
that-
might not go to a
but that's not
better
the same
one
thing.
after that.
Right. That's what I just said.
Okay.
We're talking about the difference between growth and decline, right? If you you create good product, then it will continually grow. It may not skyrocket, whatever, but it means that
You also don't need
whoever got the first one.
This whole idea of like continuous growth is also something you don't actually need. Like you don't need continuous growth. Like yeah, it's good to, it's like that could be something that's good to have, but like it's not necessarily something that you really need to have. I mean, there's plenty of people that are satisfied. Like I don't need to, like if I was making more money now, like yeah, that'd be great, but like is that something that I necessarily need? No. So I don't. So that
but
whole
it
idea.
benefits, but it benefits your mission, right, John? What's the mission of your website?
Well, right. Yeah, for sure. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm not like I'm not going to say no to like more growth.
No, but see,
I'm also not saying like that's something that I necessarily like need. That's something that I like want and desire, and like it like drives me to keep doing what I'm doing. That's obviously I'm motivated to do that, but that's not like what I'm saying is like that's not something that I necessarily like need right now.
Also, I think that people sometimes they chase growth and they grow things too quickly, not thinking about long-term stability. I mean, we are probably looking at Disney going up for sale, if the rumors are true, but I don't doubt that they are. Disney's stock has been tanking. People are rejecting it.
Yeah, is it still? Has it gone back down to 92 yet? I didn't check.
I think it's at 98 at the moment. The last time I checked, which isn't still not 100, but I mean,
Yeah,
we're talking about a
98.
stock that was over 200, so like
Yeah.
over $250 not too long ago.
So I think that might be a better way to like make the point that I was making. So Disney decided to like they've like publicly said this. They were chasing these new markets. They wanted this more growth. They were like you have Victoria Alonso saying like if we're not representing you, like they're going to go somewhere else. Well, that strategy clearly isn't working, and what's happening is they're actually losing the people that were already there. So they decided to like chase this like growth strategy of representation, or at least this is what
Okay,
they
I
were
see.
saying
I see what you're saying.
was their business strategy, right? Instead, what happened? They've lost people. So instead
Right.
of being satisfied with the people
I
that they
think there's
had, they
that's
went to
not
try
the
and
same
chase
thing
growth
that
and
I
lost it.
I think we're on two different tracks here. I was saying that quality begets growth, right? Not
Right.
chasing growth for this
Right.
for the purpose of chasing growth. So
It's-
not chasing
right, okay, yeah,
audiences like Tim Pool might be doing great and growing his audience because he's chasing an algorithm or whatever. But it's like if we as creators, whoever here is a creator, or even Royce with his channel, building a channel, doing quality content, quality people will
That is the
continue to
closest
follow.
thing that Mike S. Miller has ever
Has
come
ever
to
said to a
complimenting
compliment.
me.
Yeah. But if you continue to build quality, then you might have some attrition, but you'll have more gains in real fans than you will have otherwise. Chasing target markets will always
Right.
lose other target markets, right?
Well,
Just go for the quality of the story and the message. And
I also think
Yeah.
that there's a lot of these decisions that have been made based off of like the fact that 10, 15 years ago, it was like get an MBA. And so all of these, whenever you go to like corporate thinking, rather than you get to like creators want to make good stories, theoretically, right? Creators want to make good stories. They want to have fans. They want to share the things in their brain, however that is. Okay. But once you move to corporate, like you're not dealing with creators. Like creators aren't really in the room when these decisions are made. So how are these decisions made? They're made by a bunch of people who had MBAs. And so whenever you start like, why are we even talking about growth strategies with like comic books or something like, like a lot of creators, they want more people to see their stuff and they want to be able to put food on the table. Sure. But the idea of like a growth strategy as the corporate, talking point and that whole system actually exists. That's to me, that's something that is kind of a side effect of this. What do you want to call it? Like the managerialization of everything, that
that should be
managers of everything.
marketing's job, right? Creative should be creative. Marketing should take what creative does and sell it to the people. It shouldn't be the creatives that are marketing the story.
Well,
They
and
should
no,
be
and that's
terrible
100%,
at it.
and that's 100% correct. And that's one of the
From the
biggest
corporate
things.
perspective, sure, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, we need a marketer.
Yeah,
I could
but
dive into that in a couple different ways. Okay, really quickly, because Tim Allen is absolutely correct. I have not asked everybody what they are drinking tonight. So,
I got a lot.
gentlemen, whether it be water or something spicier or possibly saltier, which would be weird. Maybe there's something salty. What are y'all
I'm
drinking this
water
evening?
from a rib crib cup. So there you go.
There you go.
Bud Light, I told you.
Wait, are you seriously?
No, it's water, Dubby.
Yeah, I'm having Bud Light
So
too.
I can't
Actually,
see. It's very
That's
small. I
That's
have
that new Bud Light Zero that they're selling at the
just
World
so
Cup.
you guys
Actually,
know, I
color
have
doesn't look
6
anything like
screens
Bud
pulled
Light,
up on
right?
this
Woodford
monitor,
Reserve.
and I'm saving this one for anything important. So I actually can barely see you guys.
Chris, why are you drinking out of an all-purpose cleaner
Uh-oh.
bottle?
Is that
I ran out of wine.
is that how you put your wine in the cleaning bottles now? Is that how they?
Dude,
is
he's
that how they do
following
it?
the
He ran
critical
out.
drinker and just drinking toilet duck. He's just gone. He's just doing it. He's just let's go.
I was
Let's
gonna-
go.
As long as it gets me there.
To Iron Age's point, by the way, Disney used to be very smart about, because there is such a thing as corporate creativity. Disney's whole strategy used to be to make memories for children, so when they grow up, they can
I just read
sell
that
them
quote.
those memories again.
Yep.
They've
And Disney was so bad at business, though. That guy hired so many people that wanted to stab him in the back and take his money. Like, he was good at creativity, but not so good at the other everything.
No, his brother did the business side. Wasn't it Roy
Yeah.
that did the business side?
Their problem,
For the
as
most part.
Razor Fist highlighted, was they had a bunch of communists in their midst that were sabotaging them,
Yeah.
and Razor Fist did a great job of breaking that down. So
Absolutely.
I gotta go
Um,
soon, but go ahead.
Okay, really quickly, Toxic Crusader for $10. Sorry, I've been sitting on this for about 20 minutes, but I didn't want to break up the conversation. So there isn't a super sticker for giving the middle finger. So here's a super chat instead. Keep up the good work, Royce. Cheers. I thank you. I think. I mean, for $10. So thank you for the $10. The rest of that, I'm not sure about.
I was born in England, so we actually do this.
There you go. Geekomon for $5 says, Mike/Mark, your shirt matches perfectly with your background, Land of the Rising Sun. Oh,
Almost perfectly.
almost. It's really, really close. It really is close. Geekomon for $5. Mark, when do you expect the campaign books to be delivered in the US?
I don't have a date because I don't have a shipping or a printing fulfillment date yet. So you got to get that date before you can start fulfillment.
All right, Darkish Media for $2 says 100%. I do not know what he was saying 100% to. I believe it was a Tim Pool conversation when that came up.
He was
Guys,
so
probably
much
referring to
Darkish.
something I said.
He might have been. He might have been. Kikomon for $2. Rob is the only one with taste here. Oh,
That's
yeah,
true.
you're right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah. You're
Is
right.
that the double oaked?
Man, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just the regular one, man.
Oh, okay.
It's
So-
delicious.
It's the one my cousin just gave me on Sunday.
Nice.
So, funny enough, one of the things that I was paying attention to earlier in the week, and I have to pull it up because I want to make sure that I see exactly how I kind of phrased it. Oh yeah, it was the and I've been watching this, the Netflix Ancient Apocalypse series. Have you guys checked that out? What are your thoughts and what do you think about it? I think we talked about this briefly the other night on Shad's stream.
We did, and I was gonna come in here and tell you why evolution is wrong.
Okay, that's.
I want to hear it
think-
because I actually.
I think God is a
probably
whole lot
agree with
more
you.
complicated than the
Story
human
time.
brain. I think God is a whole lot more complicated than the human mind can possibly comprehend, and I think
You know what
evolution
isn't?
is absolutely within His wheelhouse.
You know what isn't? Chemistry
What?
and physics.
So God didn't design chemistry and physics.
He did, but he designed it to follow basic rules, right?
Absolutely.
of
And do
physics
you
and
understand
whatnot.
all of the rules that God understands?
God understands that Die Hard is not.
And
a Christmas
that's
movie.
my question. Do
Yeah.
you understand all of the rules that God understands?
So you're saying that God went against the rules of physics in order to
Are they your rules or his? And
Create-
do you have a perfect
So-
understanding of them? That's my question. Because now I'm questioning your
Nobody has
intellect
like-
in
so-
comparison with
so-
God's intellect.
So the answer is obviously
No,
no,
that's not-
but
No.
the real discussion
here's-
is evolution real? And I
Right.
think there's a lot of evidence now pointing to the fact that it isn't.
That's correct.
And
no.
and
But there
but
there is
even
a
as a
lot
cat, I'm a
pointing to
cat.
the
Even
fact
as a
that it is,
Catholic,
though.
even as a Catholic,
I'm also a Catholic.
Right. So we yeah. So it is possible that under the theory of evolution, that like it was God's intention that he created us through that. But that there's like that's not it's a theory, right? It's not actually proven. It's not something that we know for certain. And clearly, that creationism is also a theory too, and that could also be real as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, and
But
that's
the whole.
and that's
So
where,
for me, with the
and
ancient
that's where I
apocalypse
get it.
thing,
Is
the
God
whole
is bigger than me, and I can't.
Right.
I have to find myself in one way or the other, right? and God is bigger than me. Period. End. I do not possess the level of knowledge or intellect that God has, nor when I die and I am in his presence, hopefully at the end of my life, will I understand all of the things that he does.
Royce,
And
why do you
that's
believe in evolution?
why.
Do you believe in evolution?
It wasn't because
first?
God told you. It was because some dude told you.
Mm,
Some other guy
No.
came up with this.
No,
Yes,
I believe
it
in
is.
evolution because in the story of Genesis there was the talk about creation. Now man said everything was
Yeah,
created
I
in
know.
7
You can quote it.
days. But that was but
No,
we also
man didn't
know
say that. God said that.
Well, I think this comes
The-
down to whether or not
I like
this
this
is an
conversation.
old conversation that goes back to whether or not the Bible is divinely inspired or whether it's literally the Word of God as translated. You know,
Yes, it is.
and
Well,
I
maybe
think,
not as translated, but the original.
well, yeah, and
But that's the thing
then
is
that
we
goes
don't
back
have
to
the original translation and
speak?
we haven't and
No,
we know
but
it's
we
been
have
bastardized for
enough. We have enough
generations.
evidence that we have the exact original signatures of what was written in Greek, Aramaic, and Hebrew.
What does this have to do with the
we
ancient
do have close
apocalypse,
to.
though?
We
What,
do have
what did I
close
miss?
to.
I know, right?
Because
we
I kept
do. We've
falling
got-
asleep to
the
ancient
Bible is
apocalypse.
the single most authenticated set of documents in
Yeah.
the history of mankind.
Which one? The King James, the Douay Rheims? Which one? I can pull one of a few of them off
I
the
said
shelf.
the original autographs, the original languages.
So-
You have
So,
an autographed
Chris,
copy
in-
of the
I'm
Bible?
not talking about the
No,
translations.
the
Yeah.
autograph
original
copy. That's a little
In-
reductive.
They're called autographs. The
Yes,
original writing
yes,
of,
I know.
of an ancient document is called an autograph.
in ancient
gotta
in
bear
the
with
ancient
my dad
apocalypse
jokes here.
show, the guy he's trying to prove his theory that there was an ancient civilization
Mhm.
beforehand, which I don't like. So when I was watching it, I was just like, that answer is we already know that answer. It's yes. All you
Yes,
have to do is
absolutely.
read the story about Noah and God like destroyed
Yeah.
them. So like I
No,
didn't the
and-
whole purpose of the show made no sense to me, but I did like the fact that he was actually going around to these places that I'd never heard of and like showing us like what was going on. And I found that stuff that I like that
Yeah,
stuff. That
that's
stuff's
great.
cool because that's actually history and archaeology and stuff. But his whole premise was just kind of like, dude, we already know this answer. Like it's in this
Well,
book
but
that people have been
but here's the thing.
following
But he doesn't come from
for
it
2,000
from
years.
a Christian or a godly perspective.
Right.
And
That's
I
my whole
happen
issue with
to
the whole
believe
show,
that
yeah.
the more science that we look into and the more things that we find to be true scientifically, the more we actually reveal what God has done for us.
Right, real science.
And
Yeah.
that's why
Not the
when
theory of
people are like,
evolution.
oh, the Great Flood didn't happen, I'm like, but that's a lie because we know that the Great Ice Walls collapsed. We know that the Bible was handed down. We know that these stories were handed down through generations in rigorous, teachings about no, you have to say exactly this way. And it wasn't until 9 or 10,000 years ago that we actually started seeing the first actually written documents of the Bible. But we know
that's
these
not
things
accurate either.
happened. There are
That's-
written accounts
the Bible,
all over the place.
Bible was written. The oldest extant document, I believe, is 700 BC. I think that's the Silver Scroll or the Copper Scroll. The oldest
for
written
the
example.
for the Old
Yeah.
For
Testament.
Old Testament.
Yeah, the New Testament wasn't written until after.
No. Well,
33.
that I know, that I'm aware of. I thought that we had found an earlier edition of it that was quite older than that. If I'm wrong, I
That
do
would be new
apologize.
to me because I've been studying this for. 30
I
years.
no, and I could be getting my wires crossed here, which is 100% possible. Let's see.
The oldest book in the
oldest-
Bible is the Book of Job,
uh,
and that predates Abraham not by much, right? John, you remember that?
I'm not familiar with like the specific dates of the documents that we have.
Yeah, but
That's not
even
something-
I mean, if you go all the way back to Abraham, I mean, Moses was what 1,500 years before Christ, something like that, 1,500 BC, roughly. So even the oldest document, the oldest anything of the Bible would only be about 3,500 years old.
If you say
Well,
so.
they obviously the
While we-
things that I'm looking up refer to the Dead Sea Scrolls, which those are very, very old. The Dead Sea
Yeah, the Dead
Scrolls,
Sea
the Nag
Scrolls
Hammadi Bible.
were written by the Nicene Christians. They
Mhm.
were about the 1st century. Some of the scrolls might have been a little bit older, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's and they
I will have to
predated
look at
that
this.
because the earliest existent copies of the Bible before that were dated somewhere
damn it.
around 300 AD and or even 1000 AD. And so you close this gap where people said, "Oh, the Bible could have changed during all this time," but no, when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls, which predated the earliest extant copies by hundreds, if not 1,000 years, and they compared them next to each other, they were freaking identical. The Bible never changed. We know exactly what the original autograph said.
Okay. I believe I'm gonna look in for the Torah because if you type in the Bible, it screws up. But I'm gonna look into the Torah because that was specifically.
Dude, search engines for any kind of like Christianity
I
stuff is
know.
absolutely
I
horrible.
know,
Yeah,
and that's
tough
the
to
bad
do it.
part
So
too
bad.
is you can't pull this stuff. But anyway, so regardless, Ancient Apocalypse. What did you guys think?
Didn't watch it.
Because
I'm
I
with
don't have
John. I had
Netflix.
the exact same reaction that John had.
And I only watched like the first 3 episodes. Like
Yeah, me too.
again, like the guy was clearly like, dude, like your answers, like your whole hypothesis has already been like, proven. You read the
Yeah.
Bible, and he mentions like he does mention the flood and everything, but then he's just like, oh well.
in every
I don't really
episode,
like-
though, and with
Yeah.
multiple cultures,
Yeah,
and that's the key point.
Yeah, pretty much every ancient culture on the planet knows about the flood.
Every
But our
single
modern
one of them
scientists are
has
like,
had a flood.
evolution.
They had giants. They had, but all of this goes back, I mean, 10, 12,000 years. And like I said, and the
No,
reason that I
that's bad
say,
dating.
so, I mean, well, no, 11,000, what is it? 11,600 years ago to 11,000, like,
I know
or,
they
I'm
put
sorry,
the little chart on the
12,900.
screen, but that's all bad dating, dude. You can't trust carbon dating.
But can you
Okay.
trust?
But
The one thing you can't. The things that they know the absolute date of, they carbon date and they never get it right. So why are we supposed to trust the things we don't know the dates of? You
We
can
use
date
what we-
you can date a living
we use
freaking
what's in
muscle
front of
and
us
it'll be
until
like
we have
50,000
something
years
better.
old.
Use what's in front of us until you have something better.
Well, when
Right.
you already know that it's giving you bad information, you don't trust it.
I mean, I'm kind of
I
with
don't
Mike
think
here.
that it's
I don't really trust
necessarily.
any
I don't think it's
scientists or-
inherently bad information.
I think after the past
It's
2 years,
best
I don't trust
guess
really a lot of
information, and
scientists
it's not
at all.
accurate. I'd never trust something that is proven inaccurate in what we do know to be true.
Okay, but again, I have to ask you this: how do you know that it's proven to be inaccurate?
Because they've dated stuff that you know the actual date of, and it's always wrong.
What do we know the actual date of?
I mean, you can
He gave an
just-
example of a
you
living
can carbon
tissue,
date like
and they said it was
literally anything
50,000.
that.
Yeah. Well, no, but based off of what you're saying is you can't carbon date anything because you just got done saying you can't
No,
trust
but
carbon
I'm-
dating, and now you're saying
right.
but you can carbon date literally anything. But like, I don't.
I'm saying
underst-
you can measure the carbon decay in just about
Yes.
anything, but you
No,
cannot.
and-
It's not going to be accurate.
It's only accurate to a point, and that's anything, dude. I've bought in tape measures from the store that you literally pull them out next to each other, and the inches are different. We're human beings, we're flawed to a point, and so the only point of this is to say that what we have on the record and what we've had on the record for at least the last, we're challenging it. Not only that, but with what's being said and again, Graham isn't coming across as this Christian guy or anything like that, but he is proving to many, many, many more people that the Bible is actually true. That's my point here. And the idea of sitting here and saying, well, you can't trust any of this other stuff because dummy, isn't the way to say for people who are new to this information, who may not know this, who may be starting to accept this information, going, holy crap, the biblical texts are true. Going back and saying that, oh, well, you can't trust the science because if you can't trust the science and that's what's helping people, or the science, I'm sorry.
It
If you
depends
can't
on
trust
what
the scientific
depends on
method that's
what
leading
the
people
method
down
is
to this
being used.
road, like I think that's the wrong approach here. And that's what I'm getting at. That's why
but
I
have
like
a
what the show
problem.
did.
I stand with this. I don't care what other people think about my opinions. I only stand by what I believe.
Well, I
No,
think
and-
that you're going to find that, whether you're going on faith or you're going on scientific method, the two are never going to reconcile as long as we.
Katie
Okay.
Room, Paraxis
Hi.
Press, how are you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh,
Very well.
Hello.
Howdy.
I actually have to go soon, so it's good that you're here. You can replace me and probably be lovelier than I've managed to be so far. But before I go, Royce, I wanted to give sort of like a non-announcement, sort of kind of an announcement that's not really an announcement, but
We
it
want
might
an
be an announcement
announcement,
later,
Chris.
but maybe you heard it here first thing.
Go for it. Wait.
Okay, so-
Before you do that. Okay, now go.
There we go.
I thought he was gonna freeze with that face on. That would have been hilarious.
That would have been hilarious. I would have loved
I
that.
can make faces all night. Since my last time on here where I was talking about Escape from Planet Omega 12, we have achieved funding and are going into production in January.
Yes! Fantastic, good sir. Awesome.
I am currently seeking animators. We are looking for a 3D animator and a 2D animator. I'm probably going to also be hand animating a bunch of stuff using rigging through After Effects, using an app called Duik, which is created by communists, but it's free, so I'm using it. And
use the commies to your absolute pleasure, ladies and
they
gentlemen.
keep complaining that they don't get enough donations. I'm like, should have gone capitalist. You'd be gangbusters. It's an excellent plugin for After Effects. All right. So that's what's happening. Like I said, we're seeking animators. It's a low budget, but it's going to be really cool.
Drop a link or an email for me in the private chat. I need to share this.
Well, that's what the Subscribe Star that I put in is for. I'm going to be giving exclusive content to Subscribe Star because it's a super low budget, so we can always use a little more if people want to support the project and get some exclusive or early content. I am also talking with some names to voice the characters. I cannot talk about that because it may all fall apart. But one of the names may be a popular rapper who also thinks along the lines of how we do. And another name may be somebody who was canceled that we've got the information, the contact to approach them, and they may have been involved in some other science fiction in the past. But I don't want to say anything because it could nothing. I can't say any more because I don't want to say something.
Tom McDonald. Jolly Roger says, "Is it Tom McDonald?"
Oh,
He
he
froze.
He froze
He's
again.
doing that thing where he's pretending because he doesn't know how to answer.
He's just holding really, really still.
He just got. And I was like, "Oh my god, we cracked him!" No, that was a freeze frame. Damn. That was absolutely
Good stuff.
fantastic.
Okay, so anyway, it's happening, and I'm really
so
excited about it.
Me
But
too.
it still needs support. It's very low budget, so we'll probably get it to a certain point and then seek finishing funds. But there will be official announcements probably in January, and some announcements that fall after. We've been talking to a PR person, so the Quantum Terror might get a little more PR as well. You might be hearing a little bit more about that, but I'm
Wonderful.
super excited about it. And I can't thank you enough for having me on the show originally, even though the crowdfunder for it didn't do anything. You still gave me a platform, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate all of you guys. So, keep an eye. This is going to be something I'm so excited about it too. This is what we were going back to before. I am so passionate about my miniature effects, my puppets, hand-drawn animation, CGI, all of it. So to be able to bring it together into something that has never quite been seen before is like really exciting. We've already been shooting some of the miniatures, and by we, I mean me. I have a producer. He handles the business side of it, but we've been shooting some of the robots and some of the escape pod sequences that you saw on the storyboards. So it's going to happen, and just like I said. And so I appreciate it. And I must have bored Royce because he's gone.
Nah, he just
Well,
run
on the
for a
plus
minute.
side, he's not here to kick you off now after your spiel. So.
I know. Well, thanks, guys, and
Congrats,
it's
Chris.
always a pleasure talking. Sorry, I kind of zoned out on the biblical stuff. It's not my wheelhouse.
all right.
You know, I have I have faith in the Lord. I just have given up trying to understand it all. So I'm just going to do my thing. So, but Katie, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
So you guys have fun, and hopefully I'll be back on the show at some point before Christmas time. So I won't say Merry Christmas.
right.
That'd be
but-
awesome.
Happy
all right.
Thanksgiving belated.
Somebody give Royce a kiss for me when he.
All right, we'll do.
All right.
I'm
We'll
right
leave
here.
that to Mike.
Bye, guys.
Oh yeah, Mike
Bye,
will
Chris.
be the
A
one.
good one.
Yeah. Give him some tongue for me.
Too far.
A tongue lashing.
Oh,
Yeah,
so-
definitely tongue lashing. That's what I was thinking.
there we go. I was gonna say, Katie, what's new in your world? We were
everyone's
all
been sick.
rambling about our Thanksgiving.
Oh,
you've
no.
been sick? Oh no, that's not
Yeah,
good.
so the kids have been snotty nosed and coughing, and we were like, well, let's have Thanksgiving anyway. So we've probably infected my entire family, both sides.
We had that.
Well-
Our whole family had that for like 2 weeks. Just
Thanksgiving
so annoying.
vengeance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just finished putting them to bed, so have no idea what you guys have already talked about.
Rice is back. Shh.
Shh, that was a secret. No, we have talked about quite a few things. We've talked about Tim Pool. We've talked about just growth on the internet, stories, God, evolution, all kinds of things. It's been I love the conversations tonight. They've
Wait, you
just
guys
been.
talked about young Earth versus old Earth?
Let's
Oh,
go.
Oh
Okay.
no! Don't
Yeah.
do
Let's
it.
go.
Okay, sorry.
All right, Wrangler for 420. Just because it's been a while. Mike, I can't believe you started that on my channel. And then Kikomon for $5. I cannot trust scientists, historians, or news from 5 years ago, let alone 3,000 or 100,000 years ago. Live in the present, guys. Soy will uplift you.
Yeah, that's
He
pretty
is-
much my argument now for a lot of this stuff, man. It's clearly, I just don't buy. I just don't trust any of it.
We were
Yes.
I get,
Especially, like, the
I get sick
scientists.
of quote unquote science trying to rewrite
Yeah.
actual witnessed history.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know,
No, and that's
it's
garbage.
like one thing should trump the other. And it's like your theory does not trump eyewitness accounts of things happening.
No, and you're right. One of the things, actually, we had a really great conversation to piggyback off of what John was saying. We had a really great conversation in my Gilded, and everything happening around this Iron Age movement with a lot of the creative types, the authors, and us, just people just following it. And a lot of the Iron Age people who are coming out saying, hey, we're writing, we want good stories again. We want good stories to help build culture, this, that, and the other thing. And we want to make sure that our children and our children's children have good stories to grow up against. A lot of us feel that what's going on with the Iron Age right now is divinely inspired, because something feels different. And now it has a name, right? But it was there. You know, Razorfish just happened to coin a name, or maybe had heard a name before. He says he didn't coin it, but you know, he just used it in the show. But anyway, but regardless, the Iron Age name is there. But there's something about what's happening with the rush of people that are going, we're doing these stories. We want good storytelling. We want the next generation to have good storytelling. And I believe, like, almost everybody that has ever been on the show, with the exception of like one person, because he's 20 years old, is a parent. And then, like, there's something that feels divinely inspired about this. What's your guys' take? It's yours.
Well, I would say I don't necessarily reject that premise, but I think that it's also just a matter of everyone has been ejected from the acceptable realm of thought, right? And so things have been narrowing and getting worse in terms of quality for years now. And it doesn't matter if you're a Christian or like some kind of like a hardcore right-wing political activist or something, or just somebody who is, mildly annoyed by revisionism and bizarre additions to various like things, whether it be comic books or movies or whatever. Like if you even brush up anything, then everything gets ejected, right? And so I think the thing to me is that a lot of it just feels like a natural reaction to a pendulum, and I think that you see more and more people looking around and going, like where, like the culture that we have has really deteriorated. And I think it's now a lot more accepted that the culture that we had previously was built off of basically kind of what would you call it, like Western European Christianity in a lot of ways. And so now there's a lot of people wanting to head back in that direction. And as a Christian, I'm happy to do that. But I also think it's the thing that concerns me sometimes is people wanting to put like ideology in front of quality from our side as well,
Mhm.
And like to me, the thing that I really want with this movement is, and that I kind of identify with it, is that it's quality over ideology is one of the things that I have said. And I try not to be like, I name my site Iron Age Media, and I'm obviously kind of have to be a little arrogant to do that, but I don't really presume to define the term necessarily.
May I clarify what we were talking about, Richard, really quickly? Because I think I may have misspoke. What we mean, what the conversation that happened in my Gilded a few weeks ago or a week ago was, when we say divinely inspired, what we mean is what's happening right now isn't necessarily, it is to bring it all back, and it's not idealized. It's literally just being guided by the hand of God back to something else. And people may not realize it, and people don't need to realize it, and that's fine. But it's being guided back by the hand of God into good storytelling, the good morals, the good virtues that we need. That it's not, people don't recognize it as an ideological movement. It's moving in the direction of good virtue and good morals because God is pushing it that way, because God is trying to protect his children, essentially. That was our conversation, and I don't feel that I had properly
Okay, I
described
understand
that.
more what you were saying now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would agree with that framing necessarily.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not going to agree with that framing either. Not because I don't think that the creative inspiration comes from a place of moral value specifically, but I hesitate to subscribe to divine intervention in anything that humans do. It may just be a personal thing for me, but I think we do things in God's name for whatever reason. And some of us may say and may truly believe that we are doing these things for a divine purpose, for the praise of God. Some of us are, devout in that way. Others are not. And humans, like we talked about before, like you said, Royce, humans are fallible. So I can't really say Iron Age is, divinely inspired in any capacity, but I could say it's morally inspired. I could say that it's inspired by a value system.
Who's the author of morality?
I was about to say the same thing. Katie,
sure.
You wanted to chime in there.
Yeah, I'll
Katie,
stand on the other side. I'll say God is sovereign over everything. So
Yes.
So yes, in a way, this is all to his glory. I would say what I'm seeing, not just in Iron Age, but in indie in general, sort of before the Iron Age, and then that sort of come to mean what kind of the movement we were seeing. I was seeing a lot more
Superversive.
stuff. Yeah, Superversive, Pulp Rev. A lot of it was being written by people of faith who were not being not playing at being atheist in order to write a book. There used to be either you wrote Christian fiction and that meant you were fulfilling certain reader expectations of there would be a conversion scene, there would be theological arguments laid out, and then there was everything else, right? And we're not seeing that anymore. We're just seeing characters that are Christian, that have faith, that are acting out that faith without taking on the burden of arguing with the reader about it. So there's definitely a religious component to, or maybe religious is too charged of a word, a faith driven,
Spiritual, maybe spiritual,
where people are finding refuge in indie because that has not been accepted in traditional publishing for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, to bounce off what she was saying, there are certain people in this fellowship
Sphere.
community, whatever the sphere, that are being led by visions that they believe are from God. There are people who are just building off of their conservative Western Christian, Judeo-Christian ethics. All of that is from God, one way or the other, right? And it's going directly against the message that the enemy has been very vociferously dumping down everybody's throats, and particularly our children's, right? So you're picking one side or the other. And I mean, in the Bible, God says that, Darius and Nebuchadnezzar are his servants, and they weren't Christian at all. Heck, Nebuchadnezzar wrote a book in the Bible, or not a book, but at least a chapter. And it's like he will use who he will use. Even if he uses J.J. Abrams or somebody that doing something completely that just motivates me to want to make, a movie or whatever, or motivates, someone of faith or just someone of right moral character to take action. It motivates Royce to want to start a channel or whatever it is, that God is the author. He is sovereign. So inspiration wise, that might be more of a targeted term, but definitely his hand is in it.
If I may, I and this might be the first time I've said this on the channel, and I am fairly open with it with people in my not online life, like my IRL life, but I stepped away from faith and religion for years.
Me too.
But not out of a sense of malice. Mine was out of a sense of trying to understand the things that I could not understand. And there are things that I realize I do still have to take on faith, but I do have a much better understanding. And the problem is that's where I was introduced to things like nihilism, and things of just really, really deep things that I had to go through. But I always had, as stupid as this may sound, or I mean, I'm sure you've heard it 1,000 times, I never quite left. I always had my hand, right? And I always just kept my pinky just touching God's hand. And I never fully left. And man, that was a struggle. And I'm not saying that I'm the most virtuous man on the planet, never have been, never will be. The sins in my closet, under my rug, wherever you want to put them, that's fine. They're there. But when I went to bed that night months ago, and I've been working on reconnecting with my faith for probably the last year and a half. And I went to bed and I said, God, please just give me the smallest of signs as to what direction I need to go in. And apparently my Eric July Rippaverse video, the first one that I did, was that sign. And I was like, oh. And guess what? Still have no idea where I'm going. But I know that I got to keep going this direction. And that's part of the reason that I whatever is happening here, I don't think people are realizing it, but the chess pieces are being moved.
Mm-hmm.
And God willing, I hope I'm a chess piece. Maybe I'm not.
We all
Maybe
are.
I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
we
but-
all are.
that's why I kind of say like it's divinely inspired. What's happening here is that we here are going, no, we're going to write superhero stories. We're going to write the big, the big brawny muscly guys that are going to go fight, and the beautiful women that are going to back up their men. And we're going to talk about the sword and sorcery stories. And we're going to have these traditional values of men, protecting their families, and women, raising their children and doing it graciously and humbly. And we're going to do all of these things. And not only that, but we are going to band together as a community and tell other people, no, this is what we're doing. Not only this is what we're doing, but we believe in it, and we wholeheartedly believe in it. And we are going to convince you that this is the stories that people want, the stories that people want to hear. And that's kind of why I say I feel like all of this is just divinely inspired, because I've had few moments in my life where things have just, okay, I'll do that. I can't believe it's this, but okay, God, sure. Don't give God a blatant slate, everybody. You'll be on YouTube. Anyway, but that's what you do. And that's really why I kind of brought it all up.
Yeah, I think you're 100% on that. So I can just tell a little bit about what I've done with the Bounty and the Comics site. I was, I'm sure Mike knows this, back in the earlier days, I guess like 2019, not that long ago. But we used to do these like pinup stories. I don't do those at all anymore now, because I don't want to be part of any kind of like person being tempted to sin, stuff like that. 'Cause some of the pinups were pretty racy stuff. So I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I actively now quote scripture and quote like the catechism in a lot of my articles that I write now. So like it's my faith is there on the Bounty and Comics site. And obviously not everyone that writes for us is Catholic and has the same beliefs that I do. But yeah, that in the articles that I write now, a lot of that stuff I put that in there. And I definitely feel moved by God to do that. And yeah, that's kind of part of the journey I'm on with him. With that, and that's up to me. And I didn't even know you were Catholic, so I'm glad I highlighted you. It's even better.
I'm
not Catholic.
It's okay. We'll
I'm
get you
Catholic
there.
in the original sense of the word. I believe in
We'll get you there.
one church, one Christ. You know what's interesting?
Really
somebody in the chat earlier said that eyewitness accounts are the most untrustworthy thing, and that's just the most ridiculous statement. I was just listening to Real Crusades History the other day, and how many of you are familiar with the First Crusade and Richard the Lionheart? When he goes to
been a long
Acre,
time.
I believe it's Acre.
Yeah,
been
Acre.
a
Joppa.
long
Is it Acre or
time.
Joppa? It's one of those. Anyways,
I think it's
he
Acre.
he goes to this this city that's overrun by Ottomans with literally 20 knights and like a few hundred archers and spearmen and whatnot. Solomon.
Richard the Lionheart was the Third Crusade, not the first.
Third
We're
Crusade.
getting that
Yeah,
from
I thought
West
First Crusade.
So
Britannicus.
Yeah.
That was like the last crusade.
Solomon comes at him like with like 1,000
What
or
the-
thousands of freaking Ottomans, right? And he's throwing him back again and again and again with his little tactics to the point where Solomon, I think it's Solomon. His whole
Saruman's the
freaking
Lord of the Rings character.
yeah, his whole army, the dude from Solomon, whatever, the Muslim dude. So his entire army of
Racist.
thousands is like
Saladin. Is that who you're talking about?
Saladin, that's
Okay.
the one. And he's
Okay,
like,
yeah.
you know, his army's like totally demoralized. And then Richard, at some point, he's like, let's go. And his freaking 20 knights rush into this army of thousands and freaking they scatter. Right? And how do we know this? Because there was not only Richard's own historian there that wrote it down. Suleiman's own historian wrote it down, and Suleiman said he only had 17 knights. So the counting was that whatever it was, the eyewitness accounts, Saladin.
Well, and that goes
The
back to what-
eyewitness accounts from two opposing armies told us this insane battle where literally less than 24 knights routed like thousands of Ottomans.
And that goes back to what we were talking about from Ancient Apocalypse, is we have over 300 eyewitness accounts that are literally carved into stone about the Great Flood and what had happened around that time.
Yep.
But we can't believe that. Really quickly,
Lots of eyewitness
Gentlemen,
accounts
and
for the miracle of the sun at Fatima as well.
we're not going to get into that, but yes. Though not a comic can. The Perils of Sasha Reed get a shout out on Bounding into Comics. This is from Ral Nayanzi for $4.99 or $5 if you paid on Apple. And Ral Nayanzi is actually working on several books right now, part of the Iron Age. And from the synopsis that I got of him from the Gilded when we were talking over on my Gilded server, he actually has a really fantastic story that I think is quite fun. And I don't know if you can get a shout out on Bounding into Comics. That would be up to John here and how you guys connect in the future. But I hope I am that connection.
Yeah, send me a DM. I'm not really. Is this just like a novel or like what kind of?
Yes, he is. He doesn't look up Ral Nayanzi on Amazon. Look up the Perils of Sasha Reed. It's an interesting premise that he has, and I really like it. And from what he has told me, it's this girl. She's super smart, but she is a oh God, what's the word?
Says people are trying to kidnap her on the Goodreads.
Yes.
Summary.
Yes. People kidnap her, and she's a
She's got
pit
a race
girl
car
for
driver.
like NASCAR, right? But she's
Oh,
super
okay, then.
smart, comes up with the technology. People keep kidnapping her, and she starts off as a damsel in distress, but then throughout the story, when a damsel in distress gets a crowbar, well, now she's a damsel in distress with a crowbar, and then simultaneously her boyfriend is working to get to her while she's working to get out of her stuff. So it's this really interesting, and we actually talked about the dichotomy of good men and good women, you know, good women finding the strength to rise up when they need to, and then good men, you know, fighting to get to their women in order to help them get out of the bad situation. So fantastic conversation on my Gilded. And I'm starting to realize my Gilded is so much smarter than I am. And that being said, another man from my Gilded, Wrangler, for $5 says, Mike, I applaud you. I don't trust carbon dating at all.
Right on.
No, absolutely. I don't. And here's the thing.
They did lead dating before carbon dating, and that proved to be just as worthless.
Mhm.
Well, most things are going to be worthless or not worthless. It depends on what time period you're in. It depends on the information that you have, and it depends on the biases that you go into beforehand. And at the end of the day, all of that turns into fantastic conversations on a drink with
Yeah,
Gracie.
you know what my biases were before all this? I was raised agnostic, dude. I was raised agnostic. I believe my dad left the Catholic Church because he converted to an evolutionist. And
See, and
I was
that's where-
raised with
Interesting
that. I
direction.
was
That's where I
indoctrinated with it in school, in media, everywhere. Evolution was just a fact. And it wasn't until I became a Christian, and I was I believed in the day age theory. So I was a theistic evolutionist. But all that meant was I didn't have a dog in the fight. It didn't matter to me which side was right. Either would work for me. And then I started researching the arguments against it, and evolution just completely fell apart.
I think you can see the fruits of its labor too.
I didn't. I'm sorry.
Where does
John.
it lead people? Where does it lead people away from the
Right.
church?
I didn't give evolution any credence until probably I would say 3 to 4 years ago. I didn't give it any credence. And I cannot tell you what it was, but there was something that was said that I was like, wait a minute. That fits into the idea of God being grander than I am, and I'd have to find it for you. I'd have to do some research because I've looked into a lot of other things since then. But the one thing, and I reached a point in my life because I was like, no, God wouldn't do this. He wouldn't. And I got to a point in my life where I was like, I know that there are certain things such as morality, goodness, purity, treating other people's with kindness. But when it comes to the idea that the molecular changing of things, I was like, I don't know how God makes all that work. And I heard something years ago, and I'll have to find it for you, that just made me go, okay, God is bigger than me. God is bigger than the idea that I have of him. And what I have to accept is that I am to be kind to my neighbor, because I know that to be true, because I believe that those words were written down to be true. I know that I have to be kind to my neighbor. I know that I can't steal. I know that I can't kill. Those words are true. I believe those words to be true. But I don't remember God talking about like molecular biology or string theory or any of that stuff. And that's the stuff that I'm really interested in. And I love that stuff. And I have to accept that God did invent all of those things, created all of those things, and I don't understand them. And thusly, God is bigger than me. Because when I was in high school, I thought I knew who God was. I am utterly wrong. I don't. All I can accept are the 10 Commandments, the Golden Rule, and a few of the other things, a few of the other parables that were shared. And outside of that, the threads of the universe themselves and how they're tied together, and those things that I'm really interested in learning, maybe, just maybe in my final judgment, I'll be able to ask a question or two.
Well, you can
And
ask those
that's-
questions now.
That's how I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah,
And
you
I-
should read A.E. Wilder Smith's The Natural Sciences Know Nothing of Evolution.
Please send it to me.
You got,
Please send it to me. The link at the very least, not like the book. Like
There's
you
also
know,
Michael Behe wrote a book called Darwin's Black Box. There's a bunch of stuff that just totally annihilates the whole
there's a
concept.
lot of people out there that got a lot of acclaim that were crackpots. Darwin was possibly okay-ish on a subject.
Hey, look,
or
man,
two, but he was-
Darwin had an excuse. Darwin looked through a microscope and he thought a cell was a little blob of jelly. When you go to the microbiology or the microscopic workings of a singular cell, it is called irreducible complexity. You cannot remove a single part of any individual cell on the planet, and that cell will continue to work. It's like a mousetrap. You take any spring or any nail or any piece of wire or the block of wood off of a mousetrap, it ceases to be a mousetrap. That is
Correct.
the exact same thing with
100%.
every cell in the universe.
100%.
In other
Gentlemen,
words,
I need to do some super chats because there's some really good stuff coming up.
A cell cannot evolve. There's nothing that could evolve to be a cell.
Potentially. Anyway,
No,
that's
logically.
potentially. If anyone wants to discuss religion in depth, with a self-proclaimed soy-inspired Christian, hit me up on Gilded and be ready to hear opinions that you've never heard before. And actually, I will say this: Kikomon has a very interesting. Talk this with Kikomon on my Gilded. It's the man. The man is wildly intelligent and very thoughtful. And
Yeah, I had a long
deserves-
conversation with him about NFTs the other night.
yeah, I know. I saw you guys on my Gilded. Anyway, woo! Show me, show you. Kikomon, love you all for $20. Thank you so much, Kikomon. I appreciate you. There is, and I'm gonna bounce around on super chats here really quickly. But West Britannica says, hello. Do you accept non-Christian IA creators?
Iron Age.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't care. Yes, absolutely. The Iron Age movement isn't a Christian movement. Just put good stories out there. Preferably ones that I could put in the hands of my children. But yeah, just put good stories out there. Of course we accept good story.
Well, I think whenever you say it's divinely inspired, I think that has connotations with anybody who's not a Christian.
And I understand that. And I don't mean divinely inspired as everybody's spouting the words of the Bible, this, that, and the other thing. But what I am saying is that the cultural movement in and of itself.
Sure.
I
I know, but I'm telling you that if you keep saying that,
know,
then people are going to think it's a Christian movement. And
you're not wrong. And you're not wrong.
So,
but I
mean,
felt like,
and if you tell people that you're actually divinely inspired by God, no matter listen, literally everything. I believe everything is divinely inspired, right? Because it's all a result of God creating the earth and everything else. But if you go to somebody who's a non-Christian and say, "Oh, well, actually, God's making you do that," that's how they hear that, it's not going to go over well. So that's why I want to be careful about that. So yeah, I'm happy to have articles from anybody, as long as it's like quality over ideology is all.
No, and that's the conversation kind of led here tonight. And I just simply wanted to bring up some of the conversations that we were having. And I'm not going to hide how I feel about certain things. I'm not going to hide. But I do agree with you by saying that good and evil are constantly in a battle throughout history, right? God and the devil are constantly in a battle throughout history. And the world moves in ways that none of us understand. And let me put it to you this way. My atheist wife has held the babies whose mothers she has talked out of abortion. My atheist wife has gotten to hold the children who, in a way, whose life she saved. Because my wife thinks that abortion is abhorrent. She thinks that she was given a life, and whether by and my wife, and I'm not going to get into this whole thing because it's weird and it's complicated, but my wife, through whatever means, but she just woke up one day and all of a sudden she felt this hole in her heart, and she was like, and she didn't know where God was in her life anymore. And we were married, and she was terrified to tell me. But my wife, she became pro-life during this time period, believe it or not. She still doesn't know where she is on the God thing. She wants to believe, she just doesn't. But she goes, but no, it's wrong to murder people. You go, well, how do you know it's wrong? She goes, because I can see them. And if I have a right to live, they have a right to live. And they go, well, what gives you that right? And she goes, I don't know, but obviously I'm here. And a lot of people want those answers, right? And my atheist wife has held the children in her arms. And I've seen the pictures of the babies, because women are like, my family wants me to get abortion. All these people that, they're telling me this is the right thing to do, blah, blah, blah. And my wife is like, no, it's not. And my wife, she goes out there, she'll do fundraisers. She does baby showers for them. She does all these things. And guess what? It doesn't take a Christian. It doesn't take somebody who believes in God. It doesn't take somebody who is clutching their Bible at night under their pillow, because I've met some true assholes who do that crap. And I mean true assholes who do that crap. It doesn't take somebody who espouses the word of God to be divinely inspired. All it takes is somebody who you can look at and go, you're onto something here. You're doing good things. And it is people, atheist, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, doesn't matter. The people who are doing good things are always divinely inspired. And that's really how I feel.
Just want to jump in. Been watching the chat a little bit, picking up on some clarifications to the question. I'll just kind of come at it from the way Periapsis Press does it. And I've been doing this since 2019, so I think the Iron Age movement is coming from a similar place. We don't really care if the authors themselves or the creators themselves are Christians or whatever. What I care about is whether or not the entertainment value is there and that they leave space for my faith. The stuff that TradPub is putting out right now, they are aggressively pushing their own narrative to the point where they are trying to put the viewer, the reader, into a position where they have to either accept themselves as the bad guy or renounce homophobia, racism, whatever the author's personal soapboxes, right? I just want to be able to enjoy good fiction without being lectured at. And I think that goes for a lot of people in the Iron Age. I would say that as Christians, we tend to say, because we believe God is sovereign, that things are directed by him. But I think that Iron Age in general is not necessarily a Christian movement. It's just there are a lot of Christians who are drawn to it.
Mhm.
And the way that we're talking about it is more of us as Christians reflecting on what we're seeing in the movement and not necessarily saying this is what the movement is. Because I think that was what Westbrook-Canicus was kind of getting at, was like,
Yep.
We're not looking for specifically religious fiction or comics or movies or whatever. We're just looking for stuff that has kind of a not even necessarily neutral, because we definitely promote and enjoy stuff that is on our side, I guess. But stuff that is not attacking me as a reader for having my own views is what I've been looking for.
Mhm.
And so I've reviewed stuff on Periapsis Press. I have no idea what the author's personal faith is, and some that I know don't agree with me. For example, I've reviewed many Roman Catholics. I'm just teasing you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, and a good author can steelman the arguments of his characters that do disagree with him.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right. So
No,
it's
and
like
that's
you shouldn't just, if you pick up book off the shelf without the name on it or whatever, you shouldn't be able to tell what the author believes unless you're going in for specifically like Christian fiction or whatever
Right.
fiction, whatever it is.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I think if you look at the site, like my site, I think there's one with like blatant religious angle on it. But I mean, I know that several of the creators are Christians. I know some of them are not, and it's, the one that has Christian imagery is not, I would say, even necessarily what you would call, Roman Catholic.
Boy, that
You know what I
Roman
mean?
Catholic
Or
word's
anything
being
like
dropped
that. I think-
hard right now.
That's a
Say
hard
what?
R.
Mm.
Hard R.
It's
Roman
okay.
Yeah,
Catholic.
with the hard R. Hard R. Do you feel that, John? Do you feel it?
It's okay. We have a long history of being persecuted. We're-
I mean, hey,
Christ tells us.
send me
Christ
some
tells us
articles.
to be ready for that. He said that we will be persecuted just like him, and many of us will die, or a few of us will die for our faith.
Wait,
So, that's okay.
many or few?
I mean, so he says some of you will die. I think is the
You said-
like the exact quote, but
Oh,
obviously
great.
there
I
have
mean,
been
that's all a matter
Christ.
of perspective, you know.
Right.
You know, like many in this
Kiko
room
Mom.
or many
I-
compared to the
yeah,
total
Can I
population.
just chime in real quick with
Go
what
for
Katie was saying to the West Britannicus guy? I've kind of reading his comments here too, and I think it goes back to what Mike was saying is like you don't want to just completely go to what the audience is saying in his mind. Like I think our conversation is fine here. He has a issue with that. I mean, that's on him. That's not really on us talking about this stuff. So, that seems to be like his main issue is that we're talking about it, and he's expecting something
Well,
else. So.
And this is also, I would say, not our typical fare. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
No,
Usually we're a little bit more focused
It's
on
not.
a creator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
it's
Discussing
not,
their
but-
work, and if it goes into being divinely inspired or being, a religious in nature, then that's how that conversation goes. But
And I don't think it's religious in nature. I don't. That's the thing is
no, I'm saying,
Yeah.
in a hypothetical. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think we've talked to anybody who has. This is probably the most religion and politics we've talked on all of
God,
them
yeah.
so far. So combined.
Well,
Everything
because
I've
we
written
don't
has
want to,
Christian
but
I
we
can bring this
also
up every
opened up
week
the
if you want,
floor.
Royce.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah,
can
I
bring it
wouldn't
up
mind
every
doing
week
this
if
every
you want.
I gotta get Mike on
dude.
more.
How
on,
how many
more of
weeks
my
have I tried to
streams.
get you on, and you just sit in the chat and make fun of me?
Everything I've written has an element of
You're keeping me from
Christian
working.
faith in it, but I don't sit around and have
No.
conversations
And-
about it. Is the
and
difference for me?
And here's the thing. I don't sit here and say this stuff because I'm like, oh, everybody. No, there's just this feeling that I get, and I have not ever had this feeling about a movement or an era of time in my short time on this earth. And for those of you who don't know, I am much, much, much younger than Mike S. Miller. And so very short time on this earth, I've never felt any. Mike, he's felt thousands of them. He knows exactly what I'm
Drink
talking
with
about.
ages-
Thousands of times
with
like me.
ages has
This is my
returned.
first.
Oddly, you don't look much younger than me.
Oof.
I know. It's
Man.
awesome. Keep
If
him on
Mike-
for $10. God created us as in his image. He gives us the ability to discern good from evil and right from wrong. No man shall have another man above him. God is the source. The ability to discern is the gift. You, I don't believe, are wrong. Come on, I don't think you're
I
wrong
agree.
at all. I got more. I got to keep going.
He sure you'd.
We already
Yeah,
did
he
this
did.
one, I think.
He did. We did read that one, but I wanted to highlight it as I am scrolling past it because I'm trying to. Calvin Gulata. Oh, I didn't ban him this stream yet. I still have to ban
Thankfully.
Calvin. I know what you
He
say
already
that,
left.
but dude, he really has this bad habit of bringing the thought bots with him. Calvin forgot to donate before I left. Sorry, I'm leaving much earlier than normal, but I need to go sync with my comic studio on some panel placement / dialogue. Was great seeing everyone on here. Calvin, hail to you, good sir, and thank you so much for being here. The Lord Otter just wanted to say that thought we all harbor different beliefs. We
No.
still have the same goal in mind. God bless, and let's all create awesome stories. Absolutely. I
ain't kicking nobody out of no club because they're not flying
No.
my flag.
No, and I feel like me saying what I said tonight might have like clubified some stuff. And if I ever do that, every one of you should shun me, like in a bad way, and you should tear me down because I don't ever want to like clubify.
What do you?
Well,
what
look,
do you
man,
think
if people are going to get
qualified
upset
it?
because Christians
Yeah.
speak with Christian terminology, then whatever. It's
Yeah.
like God is sovereign over everything, and whether or not you
Mhm.
use the word inspired or divine or whatever, it's like I said, God said that Darius and Nebuchadnezzar were his servants, and they were not Christians, they were not Jews, they didn't even
Yeah.
follow him, but they were his servants. They did what he appointed them to do,
Mhm.
right? So it's
Well, it's
like,
what I said about my wife
and
too.
if you don't believe in it, then accept that other people do. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with Mike on that. But like, where do you think you clubified?
Oh, I was
Nothing
just
trouble.
saying.
No.
It's like,
No, like, I'm asking Royce,
Clubify
he-
thing
he's-
was
he thinks he, like,
no.
clubified something, and I
The
don't feel like-
Clubify
I didn't
thing
get
was
that vibe.
because whenever you get into topics like this, the feeling around it, and it's something that I felt on my channel, because people say, "Oh, I just don't know if I'm a writer for the Iron Age," and I'm like, "Oh, wait. To the best of my ability and in what I understand, the Iron Age is just this: a bunch of people saying, screw you, corporate media. I want to write my own stuff because you guys suck. And it's time to write good stories again. And that's it. And it doesn't matter if it's a video game, if it's a book, if it's a movie, or if it's what Christopher Cooksey, who is just here, is saying, that he's doing animated films. He's doing other films now, using miniatures and stuff like that. I don't want to come out here and say, hey guys, this is how I feel about why this whole movement is becoming this thing. And the sense of the world in the last 5 years has just been really, really weird. But I don't want people who may be exposed to this channel and go, wait, the Iron Age? Oh, the Iron Age is just this club of like Christian people. No, it's not. It's a club of people just trying to write good stories. I happen to feel
not even a club.
well,
Yeah.
exactly. It's just just people. It's just individuals writing their own thing, putting it out there. I don't want to clubify that as, well, it's just divinely inspired Christians. I don't want to do that because that's not what it is. I
I
feel
don't think that's what you were saying
that
either, though.
no, and it's not. But along with the internet comes a lot of clarification, because there's only so much time that we're all going to be on the internet, specifically tonight, talking about this. And people may or may not come back. And people who are here, I believe that words matter, and defining what you say matters. And that's why I say that. That's just where I'm at.
Yeah, and I was just being flippant. So.
Oh, you weren't flippant at all.
Pickle man.
Well,
Now-
before.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm trying to catch up as much as I can. I'm still not good
And
with the
now
super
for this
chat thing. I'm
important
sorry.
commercial
You gotta.
interruption
So
by
here's a
Pickle
trick:
Man.
star them when they come by, so then you can see them in the background starred, so you can have them all on the list.
Wait, is there really?
Yeah, there's a on the back end. You can like star the super
Okay.
chats.
I
you don't
need
miss any of
you
them,
to
and it
teach
saves
me
them for a
this thing,
list.
because nobody has told me this up till now, and I
Yeah,
didn't
there's like
know.
You can select the comments and like star certain ones of them. So if a super chat comes in, you can star it and it'll save it chronologically. So then you can go back to it.
Wait, okay.
Is there no longer the community thing in the back in the studio where you could just see all the super chats?
I don't know. He's probably using StreamYard. So
Well,
Yeah, but
no,
it's
I have
still back
5
through
panels
YouTube.
pulled up. I have Studio pulled up. I've got StreamYard. I actually have the live chat pulled up in a pop-out window. I also have my OBS Studio, which is actually acting as my camera right now. And then I have a Word document pulled up with all the links that I have. So I literally have everything pulled up on one screen. Anyway, Kikomon for $10. You will never be able to convince non-Christians to become Christians unless they are seeking. The best way to convince atheists is to lead by example and shine the light of God through yourself. Yes, actually, I agree with that 100%. That's why I tell you, lead by example. 100%, not even a lie. Herman P. Hunter for the Lord Forge for $5. I can get Mike angry enough to speak in tongues.
Yeah, you can try.
I don't know. I've heard some lore there. All right. Oh, and Katie, this one's to you. And I saw this when it came in, and I wanted to read this. Katie, when it comes to storytelling, religion or beliefs are irrelevant to the quality of the story. Woke people annoy me just as much as Bible thumpers. I enjoy stories on their merits. I actually agree with that. What do you think, Katie?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, I think, well, and it's one of those things. It's like, if, okay, let's say somebody wants to espouse the message of the Christians, but they don't have a good story to tell, nobody's going to hear it. I mean,
think
Christ told really good stories. That's part of the reason that we remember them thousands of years later.
Yeah, I think if we start drawing lines based on religious beliefs, we're going to be, it's going to be parsing, right? Peeling strings out of a celery, right? It's just we're going to end up fractured.
So Tolkien wrote this letter,
Two
and I like go
seconds.
back to
I
it.
believe Richard.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah,
I was
has to
gonna
bounce.
say I'm just so you guys know, I'm out of town next week, so if I don't respond to you, don't take it personal. But you guys have a good night
Vacation.
and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Richard,
Happy
Richard,
Thanksgiving.
wait. You didn't shill. You have to shill for yourself.
You could shill.
He's on
Actually,
vacation.
hold
Leave
on.
him alone.
I did drop 2 Amazon links in there to my wife's re-release.
I have
of
that.
Oh,
her book.
Very
Make sure
nice.
you follow those links, because otherwise Amazon will direct you to the first edition, which is not. There's no reason they should be doing that, but so far Amazon's extremely helpful. KDP has not been responding to emails or anything else. So anyway, but I do got to run. So you guys have a nice night. I've enjoyed chatting, and I look forward to talking to you guys next Friday. I should have my setup and everything, assuming that the internet at where I'm at is functional. So
fantastic.
Get some rest, my friend.
will do.
Good day.
You guys take it easy.
I will be dropping the link in chat right now, guys.
Thank you very much.
Yes, people are asking for the link in chat. Here is the link.
Say, and there were 2. One of them is to the Kindle version. One of them is to the paperback, and there may be issues going between those 2. So please make sure that you get the one that has the correct. If you are interested, get the one that has this cover on it, because otherwise you're going to get the first edition, which would horrify my wife.
Get both. To horrify
No.
and tease.
No, thank you guys. You guys have a nice night.
You too.
Absolutely.
See you.
Have a good one,
Good night,
Richard. Thank you
Richard.
so much for
You too.
being here, man. We'll see you next week. But you're still here. Okay, there he goes.
Are we all caught up on super chats?
Yes, I hope so. I think so.
Okay.
Yes, we are. I'm so
Have
sorry.
we-
John, you were saying.
Yeah, so there's this I see this question coming up a lot. So Tolkien actually has an answer to this. He wrote this letter to a guy named Mr. Straight back in 1956, and it says January, February. But he said he was I guess the guy asked him about Lord of the Rings, and Tolkien says it is a fairy story, but one written according to the belief I once expressed in an extended essay on fairy stories, that they are the proper audience for adults, because I think that fairy story has its own mode of reflecting truth, different from allegory or sustained satire or realism, and in some ways more powerful. But first of all, it must succeed just as a tale, excite, please, and even on occasion move, and within its own imagined world be accorded literary belief. To succeed in that was my primary object. So I think that pretty much answers that question. Tolkien had the answer back in 1956, and I don't know, that just blows that answer out of the water. And I think he's on point there. The purpose of the stories are to excite, please, and even on occasion move. But then within that, they have their own mode of reflecting truth.
Yeah, I think it's just
Correct.
important to write a good story. Your worldview will guide what is right and good and true in your story, right? That's why people with jacked up worldviews write these jacked up movies that we're dealing with now.
Correct.
100%. So true. Say that all the time.
No,
Their whole
absolutely.
worldview just they can't do anything outside of it, and that's why you get these like horrible shows like She-Hulk and whatever else they're creating now. I don't watch any of that stuff anymore now. So
You know,
hard for me to.
dude,
And Lord of the Rings, I guess I did watch Rings of Power, but like they're
no, I
didn't.
don't watch
Listen.
any of it. I don't, and that's why I'm so out of the loop. Like,
I watched
I-
Rings
I-
of Power mainly so I could accurately critique it and just basically throw everything that Tolkien wrote in their face about what they did to his actual work.
Yeah.
I made the decision to not, because I thought about it for like the channel, because everybody's like, "Oh, your channel will blow up if you do this." And I was like, "Okay, but I don't want to do that. I don't, and if something came up and I thought about the topic in a way that I would cover it, I did. Or something interesting, and I did cover it, but I wasn't going to do an every episode review, and I wasn't going to watch the show. But if a piece of news came out and I went, all right, hold on, this is just ridiculous, I did cover it. Really, that's what gets you. Really?
No, I'm reading Convoy Bebop's top chat.
Yeah. Oh no, Convoy Bebop, he's my boy. He's my boy. You were here with him last week, Mark.
Oh.
Have you guys
It's
talked
so
about
natural. It's so natural now. Sorry.
Go ahead, Katie.
Go on, Katie.
I just wanted to make sure that we've shilled enough. Have you guys talked about the sale that's going on?
No, what's
We
that?
did a whole article on it.
Mm-hmm.
But you haven't talked about it on the show tonight?
Yeah, the
Okay.
base sale,
Yeah. So
base
the
Black Friday.
the Black Friday sale. So everything's 99 cents or free on there.
Wait, where? Do I have a link in the private chat?
I can shoot you one.
Please and thank you. Shilling is mandatory on this stream. I need to start telling people that.
In
Is
the
there-
spirit of shilling, it's
Yes,
my
the
link.
shill.
Um,
Ooh, that's the best shill.
So the sale is through Hans Schanz,
Yep.
his website, and then my link is to the stuff, is highlighting the stuff that we've reviewed on Periapsis Press that's on sale. So
It's Aetherzar on Twitter.
yep.
I'll be
Yeah,
right
so-
back. I need to go see why dogs are losing their absolute minds right now. I'll be right back.
So I've never heard of Periapsis Press. Do you just do book reviews?
Yeah, so it's my website. I
She
started a
does
couple of
fantastic book reviews.
Thank you. I started a couple years ago, and it's for readers. It's targeted at readers as opposed to writers or authors.
Right. Yeah. I assume so. Okay.
So a lot of people have like blogs. This isn't really a blog. I don't do topical stuff. I do reviews, news, author interviews, stuff that's going to be very very reader focused and focused on ways of connecting readers with the next thing that they can read. But yeah.
Cool.
But I just wanted to make sure that people knew that there was a sale going on. So if you
Is,
are looking for Iron Age books to
Is
support, that's-
Codex Babylon one of the Roman Catholic books that you were talking about?
Say
I
again?
read. On your news section, you have there's a picture of a book called Codex Babylon by Robert Croce, and the
Croce?
cover image. Croce,
I'm not sure
yeah,
how
the
you pronounce that either. Yeah.
Yeah, the cover image looks like a Knights Templar.
Let's see. Oh yeah. So I've reviewed a couple of his books. Let me check here. I know one for sure. Oh yeah. I've done actual review of the Brand of the Warlock, and then
Okay.
I did a guest review of Dream of the Iron Dragon. So yeah.
Her reviews are quite extensive and just overall structured really well.
Thank you.
Like,
that literary background of hers.
it is baffling how well they are constructed. I was surprised. Dogs, why? Can you hear them?
Because they can.
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
What
They
dogs
just-
do, man.
And in my reviews, I really try to go into the theme as well. So I talk about where I feel that the book is going as far as messaging, which I think readers of Iron Age stuff are concerned with. You know, that's part of the reason
100%.
that people are turning to
Yeah.
Iron Age stuff is they don't want X, Y, and Z. So if you are, my reviews are extensive. So if you're wanting to know going in what you're getting into, I try to lay it all out. If you don't want spoilers, just go to the reviews page and you'll just look at covers. And all of those are recommendations. I only do positive reviews.
Oh, on
No,
the
and
reviews
that's really
Wait, so you don't
fantastic.
if you don't like something, you don't.
I didn't
Okay.
review it.
Oh, okay.
I am living proof.
We're going to talk about this again.
Uh-oh.
Thank
Shots
you,
fired there,
Katie, so much. So, I hate this, but I have to read it. Kikomon for $5. Sorry, I was about to leave, but Royce called Mark. Good night, number one Iron Age daddy. Love your steel buns. Nope. Still not. Nope. I should really members only that stream from last Saturday, but I just can't. So many bad things happened on that stream.
What kind of dogs do you have?
Depends on which one. We have 4 currently. 2 of them are quite getting up there in age, and we got the other 2 because we're like, you know what? They're gonna get up there in age. We will have to probably put one of them down here in the next year, depending on how that goes. And we don't want to be the parents that are like, oh, a dog died, let's just go get a new one. But we have a German Shepherd mix. We're not quite sure what she's mixed with. Her son is 130 pound, looks like a black lab because his dad, who is on my mantle now, was a lab. And he's a big boy. And then we have a bloodhound mix, and then we have a Great Pyrenees mix. So, and the bloodhound and the Great Pyrenees are they're puppies. So,
She's got a bunch of big dogs.
yeah. I would like to have a really good warning system, just in case. But I also moved my family to a small town, so you know. If anything happens out where I live, like things have gotten like Mad Max levels of bad. Almost said Max Mad. Oh my goodness, Lord, I'm an idiot. Oh, Rob, you have been very quiet this whole stream. Are you doing okay, good sir?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm just kind of listening. So
I'm so sorry. Oh, I feel like
It's all right. You joined me in the quiet corner.
yeah, I'm fine.
I know. You guys are like the strong stoic types, and I'm the loud idiot type. It works
They're
though. It
enjoying their
works.
cigars.
I'm just waiting.
I know. Oh, the
Yeah.
after show. As soon as we hit the after show, I'm grabbing my tablet. I'm going to the garage, and we're gonna do
Same.
the after show because the after show is fantastic. Well, what have we not covered so far? What do we need to cover? What are we talking about? What are we going for? Anybody? Any ideas?
What have you guys been reading?
Oh, that is actually very good. I have been reading this, which is Star Shatter
You gotta-
by Black
You gotta
Knight.
move it down.
I have to get that.
You gotta
one.
move it down. There you go.
There we go.
Nice.
Star Shatter by Black Knight. I am also reading Brian Asher, who is not here tonight. However, he was in our group chat. I am finishing reading his Assassin of Malkozeh as well. And then I am also trying to get through a few chapters of a book that I cannot name that I was sent a rough copy from Paladin Dragoon Rider, who sent me a rough copy to check out. And so I am also reading that. And then I have about a few others. And actually, I will be getting to, obviously, Dan the Destructor by our good friend Rob Rhymes. And then Infinite Money Glitch, this is a pre-release copy.
James
This
Craig.
comes out December 5th from James Craig. And James Craig sent that to me. So I actually have to get to reading that. So I am in the middle of many things. What are all of you reading?
I'm still working on Can't Wait to Be Dead. Almost done. And then I'm going to jump into Star Shatter because I need to get that one done. Oh, gosh. Pain in the ass.
I know. I make you work on this stream. Who'd have thunk with you being a co-host and all that?
Yeah.
Do we have to show it? Do I? Because it's on my bedstand.
I mean,
No, you
you're
don't
okay.
have to. I just
You can go get it, but I'm going to point out that if you get up and go get it, that's like the 6th time I've seen your ass on stream.
It's not a badass.
Wait, there it is, you! Mr. Rob, what are you reading lately? Are you reading anything lately?
Right now I'm plugging away on my next book when I'm not working 60 hours. So that's taking up all my
Nice.
time. But the last thing I did read was what's going to eventually be Catherine Francis's book, which all the chapters are on her Substack.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. It's really good. I don't want to say too much or spoil
I didn't
anything.
know
but-
about this.
and-
Wait, does
and
she have a
started
hard copy? Does she have a hard
no,
copy at all?
not yet. Not yet. She's
So
the
I need to
first
buy a
one
printer, is what you're saying.
you can just read it on her Substack.
I have a really
Yeah.
hard time reading
Physical
things digitally.
all the way. Yep.
Yeah, so do I.
but
But
I am literally
I made an
thinking
exception.
of buying a printer just so I can like copy what some people are sending me, and I'll print out I'll print out all the pages and staple them together just so I have something physical. Because my focus when it comes to something physically in my hands is about 10,000 times better than my focus of just swiping a screen, and that's just how I feel.
Yeah, I'm not really a Kindle reader myself either.
Mm-mm.
yeah, no, I'm not either, man. I want the physical book, but I made the exception in this case. I mean, she went way out of her way and wrote a really great review of my book, and she's
She
been
did.
you know,
Yep.
she's kind of been a supporter the whole time. So you know,
Absolutely.
and I'm glad I did. It was really good, and I don't want to say too much or spoil too much, but it's a very character driven story.
Can you drop a link to me on Twitter, please? Or Gilded, or wherever you happen to correspond with me. Mr. John Trent of Bounding into Comics. What are you reading?
Yeah, so I just finished JDA's Overmind, the comic.
How
I
was
thought
it?
was his best. I think it's his best thing that I've read from him. It's pretty good. And then I started reading his novel, the novel. So I got that too. And then I've got a nonfiction book up here.
Yeah, you got Days Vaulted there.
What's the, oh yeah. Yeah. I've got this nonfiction book that I'm kind of plugging away at slowly but surely. It's called Logos Rising. It's by E. Michael Jones. So it's a history of ultimate reality, and it's like his magnum opus. It's a heavy, like philosophical book, and I'm slowly but surely getting through it. And it's dense. It's very dense. And then I've got. And then for my Catholic reading, I try and read a little bit about from Friends of God by San Jose Maria Escriva, a little bit every morning. So read that too.
Awesome.
That's about it.
Mr. Mike S. Miller, what are you reading lately?
I was reading Fire and Blood, but then I caught up to where the show was, and I didn't want to get spoilers anymore, so I just stopped reading. And I picked up. We have this really old, beat up copy of On the Road, Jack Kerouac. I mean, like literally, the receipt for 50 cents is in the book. It's really yellowed.
That's awesome.
And then I was reading parts of this. I didn't start at the beginning. I was kind of going through different parts, Russia Short History. And I just started on Hunter Ninja Bear.
Oh,
by
I've got
Chuck
that
Dixon.
too. That's
It's
actually really good.
cool. Really cool
I've
so
been
far.
enjoying that.
So,
The
it's a
action
thick
is
one.
fantastic. Yeah,
yeah,
that was.
yeah.
That's
Mel
probably like the
Ruby's
best. That's the best deal I've ever seen for a like a crowd fund.
I know, right? It's like
It was
300
so
pages
cheap.
or something, right?
Yeah.
It's freaking
Yeah,
crazy.
and it was like $15 or something like that.
Fantastic. So that's my bed stand.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
highly recommend Hunter Ninja Bear. I think I'm 3 issues in. And I've been highly enjoying it. I just love the dynamic action.
Yeah, and really, I mean, just well written. Chuck Dixon. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's Chuck.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Katie Room, what are you reading lately? You asked
I'm
the
actually
question.
between books.
Oh, I know the feeling.
I just finished William Jeffrey Rankin's Sherlock Holmes and Carnegie, the
Ooh.
Black Beast of Ipswich, and that was fun. And I picked that up because I had just finished reading the Enola Holmes books, the original set of 6. I brought them for my sister because the second movie came out on Netflix, and it made me mad because I could just tell that they were just completely corrupting it. And I knew that it was originally a book series. And so even though I hadn't read it yet, I was like, I can just feel that this is wrong.
First one, her mom was like she was a terrorist.
Yeah.
It was like a feminist terrorist. Like that's what her mom was.
Well, the first movie, it definitely took liberties. The second one was like unrecognizably just completely new and different. Like they took some character names and slapped them on some new people. It was like it. So,
Sounds
but
par for the course with Hollywood.
They do that a lot. They do that a lot.
But I picked up Rankin's book because I was still wanted more Sherlock once I finished those. And so I was like, well, I know of an indie who does that kind of thing.
There you go.
So
Yeah, it's funny because, like you say, you're between books. It just until recent that there's a reason I've got 3 books here. Is because just recently I was watching this video by this young lady, and she was saying how reading multiple books, you'll read more if you read multiple books, because sometimes whatever the book you're reading, you might not be in the mood for that when you have time to read, and then you just kind of like, I'll just wait till later, and then instead just grab something else that might pique your interest, and then you might have 3, 4, 5 books going at the same time depending on your mood.
Mike, I thought about you the other night. Not in that way, good sir. Stop it. But
I didn't imply anything, weirdo.
But the chat does, and you have to stop the chat before you allow the chat to be the chat, okay? Because my chat will absolutely chat whenever they can. But no, I was thinking about this because I was reading what Paladin Dragoon Rider had sent me, and then I had to bounce back over, and I wanted to read what Brian Asher had wrote with Assassin Malcozé. And so I'm literally reading like in the same night, like only separated by an hour. I read some the first chapter that from a series of chapters that Paladin Dragoon Rider had sent me privately, and then I took a break. I was like, because I was a little overworked. I went. I played some Call of Duty with Convoy Bebop for a little while, and then I was like, hey dude, I need to jump off. I gotta go, and I went back upstairs, and then I popped out the hard copy of or not the hard copy, but the physical copy of Brian Asher's Assassin of Malcozé. And what I noticed is I was actually my reading speed went way up. when it's just going from like one story to the next, and I'm like, okay, like, and I didn't realize that until what you just said right now. I was like, wait a minute, maybe that's a thing. Maybe I do just need to start reading, 4 or 5 or 6 stories at a time, but a different book every day, but a chapter of a book every day, and maybe that will help me to increase my ability to get through all of these fantastic authors that are out there right now.
Yeah, she was also saying, and this is a way to like speed read, although your reading comprehension will go down, is using your peripheral vision to read. Like, so there's 3 words. If you look at the one in the middle, you can read the whole sentence, all 3 words, right? So if you're like skipping through the middle of the paragraph rather than going from end to end, your peripheral vision is picking up everything that's being said. But you can't do it so fast that your comprehension just goes out the window. So
No.
it's kind of a training thing you have to get your mind into.
It's a
No,
trick
and
I
you're not
use for
wrong.
editing.
I'm gonna catch up on super chats really quick because I need to do that, and I'm terrible at this, and I apologize. I need to figure out how to do that thing that John said earlier, where you can star the things and go back to
Wait,
them
Toxic
later.
Crusader for you says, I got
Yeah.
news for you.
I know. I'm well aware of what Toxic Crusader has been saying in the chat all night. What
should be a
scares
star
me
on
is
the
he's
right
gonna
corner.
super chat it one day, and I'm gonna have to read it because that man roasts the hell out of me. Convoy Bebop says, "Don't make that stream members only. You should make it the channel trailer." You're welcome for that, by the way. What do you think, Mike? You were on that stream. Should I make it the channel trailer?
Nobody watched it. Doesn't matter.
A lot of people watched it for
It
you.
was like a Zoom meeting. There was like, I think everybody that was watching the show was on it.
Ironically, it actually has decent viewership right now, which is really great. Tim Allen for $5. Royce's Iron Age booty was the highlight last weekend, for he is the Iron Age Veep booty daddy.
Do you want to show them what they're talking about?
Nope, nope, I do not. Jolly
No?
Roger for Canadian $5. Has anyone read Andrew Clavin's When Christmas Comes? And the sequel, A Strange Hobbit of Mine.
Habit.
They are fantastic. I have not.
Not Hobbit, Habit.
Habit.
a strange
I
habit
can't.
of
I'm
mine.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Strange Hobbit of mine is a totally different connotation.
No, I know. That's why I thought it was weird.
I
So actually,
actually-
where I clicked on it, I actually had the cursor right over that. So I guessed. I was also laughing, and I'm also trying to figure out how to live down my shame.
I misread
shit.
it as well when I was looking at it in the super chat. I was like, ooh, because I collect that kind of thing. And then I was like, oh, that's
Thank you, Katie,
You know,
for
that's one
saving
thing
me. I
they
appreciate
didn't
you.
mention that I saw in the ancient apocalypse thing is like they talk about the giants and how he doesn't believe in the giants and stuff. What about the hobbits? There's human hobbits that they found. I can't remember where. It was like South Pacific Sea or something. There's an island of like full-grown
so-
people that never got over 4 feet tall.
No, we went to the Colorado history of Natural History Museum or Natural Museum of History and Science. They have some stupid name. History of Science and all that stuff.
You
Anyway,
went to a museum and
with our children, and they actually had a fantastic exhibit there where they had, and it was a Peruvian I'll just say South American. I don't know Peruvian specifically, but where they actually showed a culture of people, and we actually got to see the remains, and we got to see the sarcophaguses and what they buried them in, and they were very, very short. They were not more than 5 feet tall.
no, these people
People.
were less than 4 feet. Hold on a second, I'm gonna find it.
Oh no, Thoughtbots are here. I'm sorry. Calvin, where are you? I need to ban you.
Yeah. Duck and weave, Calvin.
Duck and weave, Calvin.
Didn't he have a super chat where he said he was taken off? He's not even
Yeah,
here.
he did.
Oh, so he left before the Thoughtbots showed up. Okay, fantastic.
It's still worth saying. Just
Pick
in
somebody
case.
else.
That was the funniest thing on the planet.
Everybody scramble.
Oh, that was hilarious. That was absolutely hilarious. Was that an Iron Age? No, that wasn't an Iron Age Nights. That was a Saturday night stream. My Saturday night streams are much more depraved.
No, that
As
was
is.
that
No, that was
one of
my
ours.
stream.
Yeah, it was Rob.
Oh my God, that was your stream.
Yeah.
That was
So it
bad.
was Iron Age Nights. See,
How
Royce
long
does
you
too
guys
many
been?
videos, he doesn't know where he
JEC,
is anymore.
how long have you guys been debating evolution for now? I mean,
I think it only lasted like
Royce,
10 minutes.
Royce
if
kept
that.
trying to shut that conversation down because he doesn't want to have it. But
no, not at all. What the hell are you talking about, Mike?
All right, I'm just gonna read.
Why do
this
you
'cause there's-
hate
there's
me?
no pictures.
Why, sir?
Here's
You're like one of the most prolific, like comic book artists of our time, and you just come
No,
on my show to
no,
just be like, I
listen.
hate you. I see how
Listen.
it is. I see how it is.
So this is from a Southeast Asian in Indonesia. This tribe, the original skeleton of this adult female stood at just under 1 meter, 3.3 feet tall, and weighed about 55 pounds.
Mhm.
And was around 30 years old at the time of her death.
Turns out, as
That's a
carbon emissions
motherfucking
increase
hobbit,
on the
bro.
planet, people
That-
get taller.
That's a short hobbit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a
Dude,
midget hobbit.
that's a Smurf, dude. That's a Smurf. That's 3 apples
Smurf.
tall. 3 apples.
So Royce is missing out on the big question here. You actually believe that report?
Well, they have the skeleton.
Is it?
I don't
but
believe that
wait,
the
is it an
dating-
adult?
Yeah.
You
They know-
actually
they
believe
can-
that it's
they
an
can-
adult?
Well, they can tell by the growth of skeletons how old a person is.
Mhm.
I've seen bones enough
Okay.
times. to know that.
I've seen a lot of skeletons at the Skunk Ape Museum down the street from me. I'm just saying.
At the what?
No,
Skunk
there
Ape
are some,
Museum.
and that's why I say there are
I live in
certain
the
things that
Everglades,
you can
man.
tell. And you know what were we were talking about this on Gilded, and I wish I could remember who said it, but essentially
Their
there
skulls were the
is
size of grapefruits. Crazy.
it's there is a point when it comes to acquiring information that people will just lose themselves in the information and just go insane. And it's why living in the day and age that we live in now is producing so many insane people, is because you as a person, in whatever regard that you do, you need to reject a certain amount of information. You need to go, okay, this is the information that I have. I kind of have to stop here for a while, and I'm just going to gain a little bit at a time. It is those people that just go, I'm going to accept all of the information all right now. They flip. They go insane. And I wish I could remember who it was in my Gilded that was talking about it. But again, my Gilded has incredibly smart people in it. Hey, I should share the link to these incredibly smart people. Yeah, it's absolutely just, it's really interesting to see what the human mind does and how it contorts to the amount of information that is coming out right now.
It's all too much information.
It is. It is. And then Mike S. Miller just tells you you're wrong. It's fine.
That's what I do.
I'm good. I'm good with it.
Why I sit here so quiet. It's not because I'm like stoic or anything. It's just I don't pay attention to any of this stuff, so I have nothing to say.
I think
Same.
Rob is sleeping.
He doesn't
awake.
look like he's sleeping, but he's not.
I am waiting to have a cigar with this man's in the after show. You better stay awake.
I'm ready.
I need to work.
I'm so ready.
You're
I am
costing me money.
so- Huh?
I said I need to work. You're costing me money.
Multitasking.
gonna ask what you were
How am
drawing.
I? Dude, you came on this show of your own volition. How am I costing you money?
Because you guilt me into it every week.
I do not.
Ooh.
Oh my
I
gosh.
send you a link and you click
guilted-
on it.
You were guilting me just on this very stream.
Well, yeah, but you also make fun
Well,
of me
yeah,
on this very
okay,
stream.
well,
So, you know.
I'll send you a bill.
Oh,
God.
no.
I'll tell you what, I'll let my wife call you. You can have that conversation with her.
Good answer.
Oh, goodness gracious. So, I feel. Oh no.
She's gonna send the Kadamas after.
I was gonna get ready to do the wrap up because I felt that we were reaching the natural conclusion, but Convoy Bebop. Y'all want to see Royce freak out? No.
No.
No, we do not.
Mm.
No. No. What the hell is happening right now in the chat? Oh, you son of a bitch!
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say yes.
Simulation theory. No, we're not getting into simulation theory. No, I am not doing simulation theory tonight. That
Not
crap
on
is
Iron Age
freaky
Elite.
and it keeps me up. No, I'm not doing it.
Another
Screw you,
Convoy.
Convoy. You can go to simulation theory.
He was right. You
I mean,
freaked out, though.
technically, the universe acts very much like a hologram.
No, we're not going there, Mike. I'm not doing simulation theory. That is the one, like, nihilism didn't freak me out that much.
We'll save that
Simulation
for the
theory
cigar
gives me
story.
the heebie-jeebies. We're not doing it. We're not. No,
We'll bring it up on the cigar one.
I hate you so much right now. But also, yes. And
I'll be having a couple of drinks. I'll be willing to believe anything you tell me.
no, I'm not going there with you, Tim Allen. No, I'm not going in to simulation theory. No, that's not a thing. No. I
Now's
tell
the
you what,
time to say
leave it.
goodnight.
I tell you what, if you guys want me to go into simulation theory, God, I'm going to murder myself on this one. I do a stream every Sunday where I go back to my previous week's videos and I read your comments. If you want me to talk about simulation theory, go back into a video that I have done or a live stream that I have done this week, leave a comment and say, hey, talk about, or prompt me, talk about simulation theory. And that's how you'll get me to do it. Because, well, I am somewhat of an internet whore. But that aside, I feel like we should probably say goodnight to our fantastic guests. So
Absolutely.
I think I would be completely uncultured and absolutely terrible for not giving the first goodbye, or I could be totally wrong in this. Maybe it should be the last goodbye to
Ladies first.
Katie Room. Ladies first.
Oh, I see.
I don't. Is it good or bad? Am I right or wrong on this?
Yes.
Should you be first or last? I don't know how this. I don't know how the internet works.
I'm ready. I can do it. I don't want to spark any
So-
new conversations necessarily,
No,
but
no.
right now, my husband David and I are working on putting together a Christmas anthology of sci-fi fantasy books, short stories into a book that we're hoping to release early December.
When
Yes.
Katie, will you reach before Christmas?
That is the ideal.
If you hit that mark, please reach out to me, Iron Age Media, or Daniel. I'd
absolutely.
love to have you on when it releases prior to Christmas.
Yeah.
We're building out our December calendar. I'd love to get you on for that. That would be
Love that, too.
amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about it.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm working on right now. So, but you can find me at Red Hedge Dragon on Twitter or my reviews and stuff at periapsispress.com.
And her reviews are unbelievably incredible.
Thank you.
Seriously, I cannot believe the level of detail that you go into and the ways that you attack it. Seriously. Periapsispress.com, everybody. It is absolutely fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And I am trying to find a link, but my computer is not working with me. There it is.
Awesome.
Sorry about that. All right. And here is the link to Mrs. I kept calling you Miss, and I feel so bad for that, but I was calling you Miss the first time. But Mrs., which is the appropriate Katie Room at Periopsis Press. She does fantastic reviews. Guys, go check her out. Absolutely do that thing.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, we lost. Wait. Sir,
John's back.
where did you go?
I was trying to copy the link over to help you, and I think I hit the close out.
Sir, I'm insane, not
Technical
stupid. I can
difficulty.
copy my. All right. And let us go to Mr. Mike S. Miller. Sir,
Yes.
my son is talking in the background. Sir, what are
What?
your good nights, good evenings, hellos, goodbyes? How do you want to exit the stream?
Bye.
Bye, Mike.
Hi, Mark. All right. Oh, man. Mr. John Trent, the editor-in-chief and founder of Bounding into Comics. First time here. I cannot believe that you decided to show up to this. Thank you so much.
I do have to point out, dude, that's the craziest tangent. And I know it's real life, but it makes it look like the orange ball is hanging from a thread on your screen.
Oh, it's red, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude, that's
Microphone?
orange. That totally looks orange. I'm going to solo you.
It's red.
Yeah, it looks orange.
No, that totally looks orange.
Yeah. Well, he moved it. Now it's not centered. When it was centered, it looked just like there was a.
I didn't touch it.
No, you did. You went like, oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
when you
it's
were
all right.
talking about it, I touched it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That could be your camera stuff. Then you probably have to adjust the contrast colors.
I have
for
a
your
cheap
camera.
webcam. I have a cheap camera. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
It's red, though.
I
This is
have a
red,
camera
John.
that is semi decent. I mean, it's still a less expensive webcam, but it's really nice. I
Yeah,
feel
mine's
it's
like a
decent.
$75 webcam that Jeremy Griggs from Geeks and Gamers recommended I buy.
Is it
It's
the
was
Logitech
like a-
C920?
Yeah, it's the one he was
Baby.
using.
Yep.
I think so.
I actually have one as well. I just upgraded that to
Yeah.
the Logitech 304K, which is really nice. It actually comes with a software plugin involved, so you can actually adjust colors and stuff. That's why my background looks blue instead of green. But yeah,
Is it green? Is it actually green?
no, it's actually this color. It's actually blue.
Oh.
But in my old camera, it looked like a seafoam type of color. It was really weird. And the autofocus on it was sometimes it was autofocusing 2 feet in front of me. Sometimes it was weird.
It's the perfect
but-
position, Mike.
All right. But Mr. John Trent, what are your hellos, goodbyes, or happy holidays for everybody else here?
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. We so Bounding into Comics, we obviously have our YouTube channel. We do Black Pill stream at 9 p.m. Eastern time every single Wednesday, where we basically just kind of cover like the big news stories of the week. It's a lot of fun. We have it's usually our team, so it's me, Spencer, Jacob, and Josh, but sometimes we have special guests. So it's always fun getting to talk to some new people and getting their perspective on things. And then obviously we update the website pretty much every single day, except for Sunday. We don't usually do anything on the weekends, especially Sunday. And then I also have a sports site too called Bounding into Sports, where we're kind of doing similar kind of coverage that we do on the comics site for sports and stuff like that. But I've kind of dropped the ball on that this past week, just with the Thanksgiving and everything. Haven't really touched that, but we usually have stuff up that on every single day too. So except for the weekends. But yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on. We're always kind of trying to see what's happening and kind of cut through all of the corporate spin on a lot of stuff. And just that's what we do. So that's it.
No, and I love to read it, man. I really do.
Appreciate that.
All right, let's go to Mr. Rob Rhymes, also known as Talking Pulp Press. Good sir, what are you doing?
Sitting here trying to stay awake. No offense to anybody here. I've just been up since 5 a.m.
Sir, I have not, thank God. Nope, but I understand those days. That was the that is in fact why Mike S. Miller is now Mark on my stream, because I had been up since 3:45 that day, and I had been up for 20
Wait, why are you blaming
hours
this
and
on me?
I'm not blaming it on you. I'm blaming
No,
it
he's
on me
explaining
because I was
why he
tired
called
as
you
hell.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, because he goofed up.
I'd been up for 20 hours at that point, and
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
literally barely staying awake by the end of that stream. I went upstairs and crashed hard after that stream.
You cried yourself to
and
sleep.
but now it's online, and so now you are no longer Mike, you are now Mark. And
Really, it says Mike right there.
no, it's Mark. It's Mark. The your screen is wrong, the internet is right. The internet is always right. It's always right.
Say goodnight,
Miss-
Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.
Oh, I have already accepted the internet's right on my channel. The lore that has been built is fantastical. Mr. Daniel P. Riley, what are you working on, good sir?
Same thing I'm always working on. The Tales of Halcyon Reforged. Oh, man.
Been working on that for a while, good sir.
Yeah, all month. Literally all month, and I probably won't have it ready until 2023, probably January, but it will be done. I'm getting artwork in that's looking really good, and about a third of the way through all 3 books, which I'm going to smash together into one hardback compendium that tells the whole story with new illustrations. So,
Oh, there you go.
yeah.
And if I remember, the original illustrations were done by your daughter back in the day, correct?
The original book cover art, yes.
That's
My
awesome.
my then, geez, yeah, my then 15, 16-year-old daughter,
How old is your daughter now?
20.
So this is not a new. This is definitely not a new book. This is something
No,
you
this
put a lot
is
of
my
time,
first
effort,
trilogy.
and energy into.
Yeah, my first trilogy. I wanted to go back and apply the things I have learned in the last 3.5, 4 years and spruce the original manuscript up. And then I thought, if I'm going to go this hard, I'm just going to reforge the whole thing, and started getting artists involved to do illustrations.
That is fantastic, sir. Share your link. Did you share your link in the private chat? Did you do it?
No, and I refuse to.
Stop! You can't be on my stream without shilling. What is wrong with you? Oh.
You can find anything you want to know about me on whimsyland.org, which is my website, or you can follow me.
whimsyland.org.
Yes, or you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. DP Riley.
Yes, and you should go follow him if you are on Twitter.
It's where I
Yes.
give all my best advice.
Yes, it's true. Also, where he proclaims himself as the Lord of Eyebrows.
That I am.
It is true. It is very true.
Although
And that
Mike
was-
and I could probably duel over it.
It's true. Cooling eyebrow soup. Never mind. That's a.
Can you move your scalp?
Sorry.
All right. So, and ladies and gentlemen, for me, I will say this. I am completely humbled and absolutely honored to have the amazing cast on the show every single week. I cannot believe that this small channel has grown to where it has grown to. I have Bounding into Comics and Mike S. Miller and Katie Room of Periopsis Press and Rob Rhymes. And then there's Daniel. He's there. He doesn't want to shill, so I won't shill for him. But I am completely honored to see that A Drink with Crazy has Iron Age Nights on it every Friday. And then Richard, who's not here right now because, you know, he's doing more important things than being on A Drink with Crazy.
The
But-
guy's getting ready for vacation.
I know. I've had one vacation since I was 18 and I didn't like it. Anyway, I digress. It was bad. Vacation and sleep. God, I wish those two things would go away. Anyway, but I am so absolutely honored for all of you down in the chat because you guys actually are a huge part of this show. One, you make fun of me. Two, You make fun of me.
it's like
3,
good
there's some
stuff.
really good points that you guys make, and I do appreciate that. And never forget that, guys, if you want to know my thoughts or opinions on things, leave a comment in my weekly videos that I do. And every Sunday,
My daughter
I do a
Eden.
video. What?
This is my daughter Eden. Say hi.
Hey! Wait, what is your
Hello.
daughter's name?
Eden.
As in Eden?
Yes.
As
Bryce
in
can spell.
also my daughter's name?
Shut up. Really?
I am dead serious. My oldest daughter's name is Eden.
Really? How old is she?
She is 10, soon to be 11.
Hmm.
Yeah.
She is 20.
Yes. Eden
Soon to be
Eden
Father's Day.
Catherine is her
20.
name. Eden, what is your middle name, Eden?
Lorna?
Oh, fantastic. That's wonderful. I have never met another. I am going to tell my daughter tomorrow that I met another lady who obviously is 20 years old, whose name is Eden. My daughter's going to lose her mind. But
Hey, Eden, what's the name of the girl that you are the nanny for?
Oh, I nanny a girl named Eden.
no kidding. Oh, that's so awesome. I've only
Oh, you want to hear a
That's
funny joke?
awesome.
Or not a joke, funny real thing that happened. So we had no idea what to name her when we were in the hospital, and
Mhm.
our aunt calls and said, "I have the name Eden," and we're like, "Holy cow, that's perfect!" So we named her Eden in the hospital out of the blue from a phone call. Like less than a year later, I'm at Whole Foods, and Eden's in the little shopping basket and whatnot, and we pull up to the bakery, and this girl at the bakery goes, "Oh my gosh, I have a little girl about that same age." I'm like, "Really? What's her birthday?" And she said, "Oh, it's her birthday." I'm like, "Wow, that's exact same birthday." I'm like, "What's your daughter's name?" "Eden." "Really? What hospital was she born at?" "Kaiser." I'm like, "Really? Where'd you get the name? Huh?" She was like next door or something, and apparently they couldn't figure out a name either. So probably the nurses were like, "Oh gosh, they named their daughter Eden," and because there's no other
Yeah.
way. Because at the
We-
time, I didn't know anybody named Eden,
Mm-mm.
and now it's like
Yeah.
We chose the name Eden because and this was where I was at 11 years ago. But if the Garden of Eden, because my wife and I were starting a new life together, and our daughter was the start of our new life together, as she was her and then I was me, and then together we are us together moving forward, and our daughter solidified that. And so we decided to call her the Garden of Eden because that's where mankind started in life, and that's where we started in life. And so that's why we came up with the name Eden.
Very cool.
And I've never met another Eden, and it's so fantastic. That's really,
there you
really
go.
cool. And now I have yet another reason to respect Mike freaking S. Miller.
What are your other kids' names?
My son is named, and a lot of people think that I named him after me. I didn't. My first name is actually my grandfather's first name. My middle name is my father's middle name. My son is named entirely after my grandfather. His name is Royce James. Yes, buddy, I know. Go to bed. Anyway, he's right over there. He is Royce James. We call him RJ. That was my grandfather's nickname. My third daughter is named Baylin Kateri. For those who are Catholic out there, look up Saint Kateri.
Saint Kateri.
Yep. Okay. But Baylin was actually a cross between a girl who my wife do through the pro-life movement. Her name was Bailey, and I absolutely have always loved the name Evelyn. And my wife was like, "No way, no how, we're not doing it." And I was like, and we literally had a kid sitting here for 3 hours and no name. And I was like, "Hey babe, can I meet you halfway?" Because she loved the name Bailey from this girl. And I said, "Hey, can you meet me halfway? Can we call her Baylin?" And she goes, "Love it. Let's do it." And then
Evelyn is our neighbor's name.
yeah, I was told that's not going to be my daughter's name. That's what I was told. And my youngest, our youngest daughter, I have one son and 3 daughters, so we're swimming in estrogen here. And her name is Alara Gray. Alara. It is a Turkish name. Believe if my memory serves correctly, which it probably doesn't, but it is a Turkish name for the morning star. I could be wrong, but there were a couple Middle Eastern styles, and then Gray, Saint Gray. I did spell it differently, but Alara Gray is our youngest daughter's name. My wife and I very much. My wife's name is Albany, and mine's Royce, and we very much believe that names are hugely important. So I really didn't want to do another Jake or a Jessica or a name that was very common. I'm sorry.
David actually likes the name Evelyn.
I do too.
It's a good name. I love Evelyn.
One of his characters is named Abby, and I was
It's
like,
so good
no,
though.
we're not gonna
Really?
name our daughter after your character.
I love the name Evelyn. I think it's a very,
Very
very.
pretty.
I love the name Evelyn as like a strong, older name. Of course, then again, I always think of Eve, Evelyn from the Mummy movies, with Brendan Fraser. Yeah.
Oh, was that
Mike,
her
you
name?
got to echo now.
Yeah, Evie. They called her Evie. It was Evelyn.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved those movies. I just love. That's my mom's name, yo. See, it's a good name. Evelyn is a great name.
Those Mummy movies are good though.
They are.
My daughter's
fantastic.
name is literally Fairy Princess.
In English?
No, her name is
Okay.
Ariana Dene.
That would work well in school.
Yeah.
Fairy Princess, are you here? Fairy Princess? Looking for a fairy
No,
princess?
It's Ariana Dene,
That's nice.
Oh, that's fantastic.
but it basically means chosen of the fairies, so Fairy Princess.
Oh, and Philip Barajas has this absolutely fantastic chat before we go for the evening. Fairy Princess.
If you
Riley.
asked her, she'd be like, "Yeah, I would have
That's
been fine
so
with Fairy
great. That is
Princess
so
Riley."
great.
Riley
well,
is my other niece's
ladies,
name.
and gentlemen, it is time to do the outro that most people think is an absolute flub. Tis is not. And
Tis is.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We got a little bit of time. And by the way, just for those people who are new here, don't say anything that you don't want recorded for the next 2 minutes.
We say whatever we want during these 2 minutes.
Well, generally, yes. Generally, yes.
Say
You're not wrong. Yeah, we usually do.
This is where I do my little dance, but nobody can see.
Should just throw him up real quick.
Nope.
I should. Oh, I totally could too. I can hit the button. No. Oh no, he's all stoic and stuff right now. It's great.
This is where Royce
Absolutely.
does his striptease.
What?
What?
Can't hear you. Y'all are being quiet.
Royce, put your shirt back on.
Oh my
No, it's really hot in the basement right now, okay?
Yeesh.
I'm not gonna put it back on. What are you talking about? And I have like 3 shirts on. So like which shirt are you talking about? The first, the second, or the third?
Nobody wants to see that, Royce.
Oh boy. Good night, everybody.
Just not. Just no. Just no. Oh, the Lord honors this happy weekend, everybody. Thank you so much. The Lord, I appreciate you.
Just one of those crazy.
Man, tis is not. Oh, I got somebody else to say tis is. My stupid high school stuff is coming out.
No. tis
Stripping
is.
for Mike/Mark now. No, I am not.
No.
But you know what? Might as well be because it's not on screen. So who cares? Oh, good Lord. Oh. Mike makes the internet thinks things about me, and I hate it.
I can't make the internet think anything it doesn't want to think.
point.
That's a lie. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.